because we're doing too much for ourselves, or too
for others.
We're putting others ahead of us. We're being selfless.
Okay, so that would
So
cause
selfless
less
is to leave
equity.
yourself.
It would be less equity.
Well, if we're talking about love, yes. Because if you're just trying to love others, you're not, and you're leaving yourself out.
Where in that definition is just, as if all we're doing is helping others? Where in the definition is
Ayn Rand, Atlas Shrugged, and it's a bunch
Yeah.
of bullshit, and it's
Yeah.
a bunch of fucking selfish, unempathetic,
There you go.
like ego-driven fucking bullshit. And so you guys can subscribe to that all you want, but
I don't subscribe to that. I don't feel very comfortable subscribing to Duke here, but
I don't
I agree
subscribe
with
to it the way that she writes it, but I subscribe to it the way that I say. Because if with my daughter, I'm not being selfless. I'm being selfish because I'm taking care of myself. So there's a divine aspect or a good selfishness, and there's a bad selfishness. I'm just saying there's good and bad in all of them.
So all I'm saying is everything that's in Beyond Freedom, Beyond Freedom and Dignity, BX Skinner stuff, Skinnerian school of thought, that all there is reward and punishment, which is true, right? The only motivation we have to do anything is reward or punishment. Obviously, we can say we're doing something to help others, but there's a reward of us feeling good, right? So the feelings and the emotions are necessities to get us to do things that cause reward and punishment. Unless we had some other objective way of getting a reward and punishment or whatever, but that's hard to even think what that would be outside of us doing things that just give us a reward. So if you want to use selfish like that, in that kind of definition, sure, but that doesn't mean you don't help others. It would mean you do help others, almost always.
But the more selfish you are in the way that I'm talking about, the more you're available to and capable of.
Well, look at it this way. On this app, there are people that will say if you're not engaged in deconstructing and fighting structural racism daily, you are the problem. And that's why I read philosophy. But Bima,
I've never heard anybody say that.
you never heard somebody say that on this app? Well, what I'm trying to say is if I read philosophy, that's what I was told 2 days ago. Every day I should be fighting structural white racism. I'm just...
I've never heard anybody say that either.
Well, that's okay. You run your show with your green bean the way you run your show with your green bean. I mean, yelling at people on a show is hardly considered a show. But the point is...
Yeah, fortunately, I don't yell at people.
Oh, you don't yell at people on your show all the time? Got it. Okay.
I do come into other rooms such as this and other rooms, and I've never heard that either.
Well, I've got it on my YouTube channel. If you'd like, I could send you the clip. What I'm trying to say is I study philosophy. So if there is structural racism, well, my solution is that everybody should just read philosophy daily.
You send me that YouTube channel, I'll send you the one I have on healing crystals. I have a YouTube channel on healing crystals.
That sounds like a fair trade.
By the way, structural racism, is that synonymous with institutional racism, or is it different?
Yeah, it's the same thing.
Same thing. Thank you.
We now using YouTube channels as basis of facts. It sounds almost like Trump saying, they all see this.
Well, it's...
All in all way, like in a lot of the stuff we've been saying, every day we have to do it, X, Y, and Z, or all we need to do is, or when we're being empathetic, it's like all or none kind of stuff. I think when people don't like something, they tend to do the impulse of their argument because it sounds more ridiculous if you were doing it every day or all you need to
it's
do.
all or nothing statement. In cognitive behavioral therapy, that's called the distortion disorder, all or nothing thinking. So, for an atheist, I think Steve does an awful lot of all or nothing thinking. For example, if I were to ask you, what is a soul? What do people mean when they say the soul? Because that is the one topic that always, you know, after you finally break the sky god model, and then somebody says, "What's a soul?" Well, then we're kind of like back at where we started, which is let's talk about something that doesn't exist and is a concept. So it always becomes the prove to me God exists show.
Yeah, I find it, you know what, I find it fascinating that he accuses me of being an example of the all or nothing, because I find more often than not, I say most or some, a hell of a lot more than I say all or none. I don't know where he's getting that from.
Well, you're Jewish, but you're an atheist.
Oh, so because I'm Jewish, I say all or none more than some or most. Sounds to me like you're affected by institutional racism more than anybody.
Well, what I'm saying is, how can you call
What I'm
your...
saying is, because I'm Jewish, you just claimed that all Jewish people do something. That, sir, is a classic example, by definition, of racism.
Is it a category
I'm not
error?
gonna lie, everything that I've heard from people since I've stopped talking is just like a bunch of repeated bullshit. Just narratives that people attach themselves to, that they're viewing, they think is real and reality, and it's hilarious because it's just a bunch of word salad bullshit.
Yeah, but that's part of the game.
Everything everybody said, except for what you said, is absolute bullshit. Is that what you're saying?
Well, he hasn't hit his
A lot
bell of
what was
peace
said
yet.
is just narratives that have been set forth on algorithms that people subscribe to. And if people could just see that these algorithms are steering their internal mindset about things that they see in society, like the topics that you guys have talked about. Like a lot of what I heard was just repeated shit that I hear online. It's a bunch of bullshit that gets a lot of attention.
Well, let's see if you've heard this before. And sincerely, I'm asking you if you've heard the following before. There's no question in my mind that there are people today that are racist and prejudiced. No question about it, and they work within the system. But the system itself today, I'm not aware of anything in the system today that is systemically racist. Have you heard that before? Dude.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty fair, analysis. It seems to me like you're well aware of the history of racism and the suffering that has been a result of the system today. Working to adapt the system so there's not as much systematic racism. Like that seems like a pretty fair analysis.
Thank you, dude.
Not an attack, but I have yet to hear anything novel from you. Everything that you've said are in books, algorithms in books, algorithms on the computer. Say something unique that we wouldn't find in any algorithm or on the internet.
I wasn't making much noise though. What's that? I'm making much noise. Alright. Now keep it down, I don't see you again. Alright, man. I don't see the problem. Hey, is that a Versace room?
I'll tell you something you won't find on an algorithm or on the internet. It's my birthday today, May 23rd. Thank you.
What's going on, sir? Good, it's family day today. I was just checking out the houses.
Happy birthday, Steve.
Birthday. It's not my birthday too, yeah.
Is it? Have fun on your cruise, Steve.
I did have fun, thank you.
Are you going to a party?
Yeah, well, I just got back from the cruise, so.
Well, but I mean today on your birthday, are you going to the party?
No, I don't have plans to go to the party. No, I don't have plans, no. Yeah.
A violation of the rules.
You're right, I'm in my mid-60s, I violate the rules, or at least those rules, yeah. Some rules. See, not all or none, some. Yeah.
Happy birthday, Steve.
Thank you, John.
So So I'm just wondering, how does an atheist in 2026 on Clubhouse respond to the question, is there a soul? Or do you have a soul? Or are you just a body living in a soul? You know, how do you grapple with eternity or providence or destiny? Do these words mean nothing to an atheist?
I were to ask you something hard. That one's easy. I do not believe that a soul exists.
And when you ask about a soul, that's a subjective thing as well. Define the way that you're thinking of a soul. When you say soul, what do you mean? What's your belief in a soul?
I'm expecting new shoes from Amazon today. Does that suffice?
Way to go. Nice. Nice work, John.
Hope they bring comfort to your soul.
I do believe in souls.
Yes. You should put some crystals in them before you wear them to get rid of the bad spirits.
But I would like to ask John a question, and I think it's on point. If not, you all can, speak up against it. But John, and I'm going to use never now, because this is my life and my life only. John, I have never, ever in my entire life, all 66 years today, purchased a pair of shoes without first trying them on. How did you come to the decision to purchase a pair of shoes without trying them on?
That's a great question, Steve, because the shoes that I'm expecting today are shoes that I did order without trying them on, and they're the best shoes I've ever owned. So the shoes that I'm getting today are a reorder of shoes that I now have tried on. So I've done these shoes both ways.
So you've tried them. You've tried the same model, brand, size before, just not these.
That's right. These are brand new shoes. I hope they haven't changed the way they make them.
Thank you, John.
But it's really true, of course, the only reason you can do this is because they accept returns, right? No harm, no foul.
Yeah, I mean, I've done pants and I've done shirts because they have the neck measurement, they have the arm measurement, but shoes, they're like a different breed.
No, totally, and I have really sensitive feet. I mean, it's really hard for me to find. These are shoes from Ortho Feet, right? So they're made specifically for people with the kind of neuropathy that I have, but they are so comfortable. I'm just really happy. I'm hoping. In fact, I probably should order another, 3 or 4 pair.
Well, you can buy.
It's genius. Buy shoes that you've already worn, same brand, same make or whatever, and then purchase it on the internet because you're certainly going to find them less expensive there.
Well, but of course, the point is you can't always do that, right? It's very amazing to me that these shoes in apparently the same style are still available. Go ahead.
So I have a disappointment in the reverse of this. There was a pair of shoes I found once. The greatest pair of boots I ever owned. I kind of stumbled on them accidentally, and I have never found their equal. Even from the company that makes them, I think they discontinued it, and I'm so disappointed. Yeah. I wish I'm envious of your shoe discovery.
Well, I was astonished that they were still available because I expected exactly what you said.
And Caleb, you know this because when it comes to boots, when you first try them on, they don't fit the same as if you've been wearing them for a couple of weeks, because then you work them in and they fit your feet for the next couple of years. But you have to wear them in for a couple of weeks, right?
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
I just like to remind us all of how we got to talking about shoes. Does anybody remember?
It's always great to talk about how one curveball question is all it takes to shift the entire dynamic. And people will act like in reality this doesn't happen all the time. It happens clearly way more than we give it credit to,
It's the butterfly effect, John.
Yeah, I have issues with
Yeah,
that
it
word,
really is.
but yeah, it's so often you think about the one thing that you did in your day that could have changed the entire trajectory of your day. Like, it's fun to find those things. It's fun to think of them in life. I do this so often. Talk about the day that you did something that sort of changed your entire trajectory, or at least you think it changed your trajectory, right? They're usually very easy. I love the exercise I love doing is think about what made you be here right now. You know, and like you go back and you think through it, get as much of the randomness out of it as possible, and try to think, like, why are you here? And it's wild. It always feels like what I would say a lot of theists find meaning in, right? They find meaning in the particular reality that had to be now, and think that because it exists, it somehow is a little bit more magical than it might be. While it's very, very cool to you, there's nothing magical about it. It had to be, you know.
Not magical, meaningful. Yeah. Right. Meaningful. In other words, Kierkegaard said you live life forwards and understand it backwards, and you don't have to be a theist in order to sort of do that reflection that you're talking about.
Are you a determinist, Tom? It sounds like it by the way you put it.
Yeah.
Wait, what? A
permanist? Determinist.
Well, since we have a rabbi here, Caleb, can you maybe tell these atheists what Shavuot is?
And by the way, know that Caleb was a determinist. I didn't.
I'm not.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Can you maybe tell people
I
what
admit that it's one of the, I admit that it's one of the more challenging things to kind of internalize, right? Like whether or not you think it is or isn't. Depending on who asks me and what they mean, I usually start out by saying, yeah, sort of. Like, it could, when we get asked the question, are you a blank?
Hey, how
I never love those questions, right? I don't subscribe to the company and write them checks or whatever. I entertain the notion that there could be a determinist kind of reality, but I have no idea. So why would I be a belief?
You framed it.
Why would I be a belief-based person about it?
And for the person that asked, my understanding is a determinist is somebody who believes that everything that happens in our lives is predetermined.
Yeah. I mean, when you look backwards, it was predetermined. That's what I mean, right? That's what Kate was talking about. But was it predetermined before I did it? No. Why would I believe it?
Predetermined by what or who, though? Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, that's not included in the definition by who or what.
Well, look at the Ten Commandments. Yesterday was a Jewish holiday, Shavuot, and the first two commandments are, I am the Lord your God, and you shall have no other gods before me. So, you know, what if you're an atheist, what in the Ten Commandments would you do away with? Is it the first two? Is it all 10? Or which ones in the 10 do you particularly not like?
They all build on each other, so you get rid of the first one, and then that destroys the foundation for the rest.
Well, but really, all of them, except for the three that are so perfectly fucking obvious, it's hard to imagine anybody would need a god to tell you, right? Don't kill, don't lie.
Bear false witness.
All that stuff. I mean, really, don't get me started on the Ten
Shall not
Commandments.
steal.
Or I'll read you my
Don't
plain
commit
English
adultery.
translation of the Ten Commandments.
Honor your father. Honor your mother.
Like, actually, you think that it's like it should be common sense, but like common sense isn't very common, and depending on a person's childhood.
Oh, that's on the algorithm.
Yeah,
The one thing that is 100%.
Interrupted, so that gives Steve an invitation to interrupt as well.
You know what, dude? Go ahead. I'm sorry. I apologize. I'll go after you.
As we grow and experience and have our minds conditioned in this world, certain people are conditioned in a way that is not very common sense for them, even though it is for probably most, if not all, the people in this room.
Can I just read my... Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, sorry.
If I may, very quickly, there are two things, and now I will use only. there are two things only that are 100% factually the same about atheists. Actually, one. That is, we do not believe in God. Other than that, we're all individuals.
I always feel like the Ten Commandments should be plastered in every public place so that people stand a better chance of actually reading them and realizing how profoundly stupid they are. I mean, here's what the second commandment literally says. Don't draw, paint, or sculpt images of stuff that is in heaven or that is buried or that is in water under the earth. And if you happen to find any stuff like that, ignore it. Because if you don't, I'll fuck with your children, your grandchildren, your great-grandchildren, and possibly your great-great-grandchildren. That's literally...
Really?
what
It
the
just
second
says you shall have
commandment
no
says.
other gods before me. So that's, it's a concept. It's introducing a concept.
That's hilarious.
I'm just saying, you're taking it really far out there.
Can I actually, John, dude is right. That is not, dude, John, dude is right. That is not what it says. You added quite a lot there.
Well, I think I challenge anybody to tell me anything I said that is not exactly what.
The word fuck did not exist 3,500 years ago.
Okay, you're right. You got me.
But that's why I was going to stay outside and wait patiently. What does idolatry mean?
Right.
Worshipping idols, right?
Worshipping false gods.
How do people create idols?
Through covetousness, through desires.
Sculpting stuff. I mean, are you trying
Through
to tell me
desires.
that one really shouldn't sculpt stuff, images of
It's
stuff?
not talking about art. It's talking about creating idols and idolatry.
Well,
Yeah,
no,
so
it
an idol's not
does
limited
not
to
say
a
that.
physical
It
object.
does
You can
not
idolize
say
something
that.
in your head and worship something in your head that doesn't even exist in reality.
The Israelites made, guys, the Israelites made idols. They had idols in their own temple.
But the second commandment literally does not refer to idols.
Yes, it does. Because what it says is don't, it does. Because the word, and you're just going to have to trust me on the Hebrew here, John. Okay, and I'm going to be pedantic about it, right? You're wrong on this one. Okay? Lo ta'aseh lecha pesel. The word pesel has to do with carving a statue. Do not make a sculpture. This is about making physical images.
I know, I understand.
Physical representations.
It says, here's what it says in the version of the Bible that I know. Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image or any likeness of...
What does graven mean? What does graven mean? What does graven mean?
Well, let me read the whole thing.
What does graven mean?
Let me read the whole thing, and then we can get into the details.
So, but this is the one. This is the issue we're talking about. Graven.
I think a graven is a sculpture.
Sculpture. Graven as in engraved.
Okay, so let me finish the fucking statement. Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth.
Okay.
It does not talk about idols, does not talk about holy things. You can't sculpt any image of anything.
Hey, John, I gotta say, when atheists read the Bible this way, they're reading it just like the fundamentalist literalists. Okay? You're not taking into account any of the cultural landscape, any of the Hebrew knowledge we have about the cognitive linguistics about this passage. Okay? I know more about this than you do on this. I understand the point that you're making. Okay? But the implication, the cultural implication, okay, the cultural signpost that we know linguistically, archaeologically, anthropologically, of what this would have meant to the people that wrote it and to the people that heard it, they would have known that it meant idols. And we know that it means idols because of the very next verse. You shall not bow down to them or serve them. You can't bow down or not serve to something that isn't an idol. You're reading like the fundamentalists, and I view you're much smarter than that to do that.
Okay, so the next one in my Bible says in literal words, don't blaspheme or use profanity because...
Oh, you need to read that one again, John.
Because I will find you guilty if you do.
Yeah, John, why do you
That's
use
why.
profanity all the time? I mean, I'm a 43-year-old
What
man.
translation are you using? You're using a terrible translation. What translation are you
Here's
using?
what it literally says.
Could I give you a better translation to use? It's a very, very bad translation.
Okay.
Okay? I can translate on the spot the Hebrew for you if you want. And if you trust me on my knowledge of Hebrew, we can go with that. You don't have to trust my Hebrew.
What translation is it, John?
Well, I think it's, let's see, what is it? I think it's just from, the, whatever, King James Version. It's a King James Version-ish version.
No,
of the
you're
Bible.
reading from the NIV. That's not the words of the King James. That's
Well, okay,
the
so here's the actual
the version.
words.
The version that you really want to use is the New Revised Standard Version. That is the gold standard of Bible translations in the Academy.
Okay.
That's really the one.
Read the third commandment from that.
Third commandment: You shall not swear falsely by the name of the Eternal your God, for God will not clear one who swears falsely by that name.
Right. Okay. Fair enough. Nothing about the second commandment. Nothing about the
That's
idols.
the third commandment.
I know, but you said that.
Yes, but we were talking about the second.
Down.
Excuse me, John. You jumped from the second commandment to the third. Excuse me, John. You jumped from the second commandment to the third commandment. Which commandment would you like to talk about?
I was talking about the third commandment when you said
the third commandment begins. Excuse me, John. Let's clarify. No. I'll just solve it real quick. It's really easy, John.
The third commandment.
You made a mistake, John. You misspoke and you made a mistake. Okay, it's very simple. When you said you wanted to talk about the third commandment, you began reading at the second commandment. The second commandment.
He's not here anymore, Jay.
All right. That's all that happened. He wanted to talk about the third commandment, but began with the second commandment.
Caleb, when
So
you're not,
here's advice to atheists. If you want to talk Bible with the people who study the Bible the most, you better come and know your Bible.
Caleb, when it says "do not make an engraved image," I put in the chat that is a way to teach people to not think of God in terms of symbols. Is that really what the commandment is trying to get at in the teaching of it?
Yes, there's definitely meaning, a thick meaning underneath what these commandments mean in their own cultural context. It's not simply don't commit adultery.
I want to thank you for giving John a taste of his own medicine. That was a beautiful example of expertism.
Well, I am an expert in this field.
There you go. Hey, I had an original thought today. Well, not very original. If I'm an atheist, I find that I do not mind people criticizing atheism at all.
What do you mean if?
To the extent that I am an
I thought you were an atheist.
Steve, this is not time for that.
Oh, okay, so you're not an atheist.
The point is that as an atheist, I in no way, shape, or form offended. I don't feel anything when people criticize my atheism. They say atheists are bad. Atheism is bad. Hitler was an atheist. Like, people say all kinds of horrible things about atheism. I have never once felt even slightly irritated by the criticism of atheism. And I'm just curious, why are people sensitive when their religion is criticized? And I am not at all sensitive when my atheism is
The reason is, in my humble opinion, is because when you criticize someone's religion, it's what they've believed in their entire life. It's not like they tried chocolate and they're criticizing chocolate, saying vanilla or strawberry is better. They're talking about something that they've believed in, arguably, for decades. And you can't...
We're just waiting for you to finish, Steve, so we can get an answer from Caleb.
Oh, well, I will defer to Caleb because what he said is true. Caleb is an expert.
Oh my
And by
gosh.
and by the way, for those of you that don't know, an expert is defined as someone who has comprehensive knowledge of a topic, and Caleb is an expert.
He sure is. But
Yeah,
he
yeah.
went to third grade. Okay.
He's a rabbi, and you, Benjamin, should understand that he should have the expertise to speak about this stuff.
Oh my
Actually,
God.
he knows that I do. He knows that I do. But here's
What's the answer?
here's the offense, right? Here's what I take offense to. I don't have a problem with people critiquing. What I have a problem with is people dishonestly critiquing and saying they're doing an internal critique when they really don't know anything about what they're critiquing. They're simply positioning themselves as the inverse fundamentalist, and therefore strawmanning many, many different positions of the religion they're trying to critique, and therefore deny the diversity of thought within those communities, and they deny actually what are the premises, what are the actual premises that one should take into account if you're going to do a real honesty for the internal critique. That's where I take
There was
offense.
some dissembling complaint and some pretending to be an insider when you're an outsider and not understanding the variation. Okay, I think that
It's not about insider. It's not about pretending to be an insider. It's actually having the hubris to think you could do it.
Okay, so why do I not feel any of that if people criticize atheism, misunderstand atheism, misattribute atheism to maybe
Because you don't have because atheism isn't a central part of your identity. It's just something you believe or don't believe. That's different than the way that religion
Isn't
works.
religion just something you believe?
No.
No, religion's a way of life.
It's at least for me, it's not just things that I believe. It's a practice. It's a people. It's a community. These are central parts to my identity and the way that I look at the world. If you want to tell me that your atheism is that, then I might expect you to be more passionate about it. But since you're not, then I would surmise that it's not really that central of an identity piece for you.
Benjamin,
In short, Benjamin, it's because you're attacking their identity. It's a personal attack.
Benjamin,
That's the short answer.
Benjamin,
Yes, and although
Attacking anybody's identity, nor is anybody attacking my identity. When I say there are no atheists, atheists are fake, atheists don't exist.
I admire your ability to ask questions and listen to no answers. I admire that, Benjamin.
Benjamin,
yeah, although I've been an atheist for 25 years, it is not a central part of my life.
Chris, Steve, most of us are waiting for the day when you become an atheist. We're looking forward to celebrating your conversion to atheism. But I'm afraid it's still at a moment in the future.
Benjamin,
Arguably, it sounds to me, maybe other people disagree, you're calling me a liar when I tell...
Yes.
All right, well, I'm glad I hit the nail on the head.
Benjamin,
Benjamin thinks I'm a liar.
Only the individual can tell you what they
I've made it
truly
very
believe.
clear.
It's up to
In fact,
us whether we believe them or not.
We have an entire house dedicated to the notion that your claim of atheism is fake.
No, you have an entire house devoted to me because if I remember correctly, and you all can correct me if I'm wrong, when you guys first opened it, you were complaining that I wasn't talking enough about God, religion, and atheism. Let me finish. Let me finish. Replays are on. I distinctly remember multiple times the reason why the atheist house was initially created, and Pro, I'd love your comment on this, was because a lot of people said, not everybody, a lot of people said that they were confused religion and God. Specifically me on my weekend shows, I opened it up for people to talk about anything they wanted. And the atheist house was at least initially opened up so people could only talk about atheism, God, and religion. And of course, that has changed since then. And if I'm wrong, I'll be the first one to admit it.
I thought
Let me
Alfonso
assure you,
opened that
as the
club.
person who invented the name atheist, that it's meant to imply you as an example of somebody who claims to be an atheist, but is kind of just kind of on the way, just kind of ish.
Well, no, Benjamin, I'm not ish, and I'm not kind of on the way. I've been an atheist for 25 years.
Yeah, but you've been other religions for all of that time as well.
No, Benjamin, I've only been one religion my entire life. What the fuck are you talking about?
Which one is that, Steve?
Like you don't know? You don't know?
I'm waiting for you, the atheist, to say what religion you are. Go ahead.
I'm born a Jew, raised a Jew, currently identify as a Jew, and I will die a Jew.
There it is.
You are religious, Benjamin. I think that's where you're.
I think one could be, but Steve isn't.
Well, Benjamin, how is religion any different from politics? Because there is this communication network, and there is a hierarchy. And so, even in this room right now with Green Bean moderators, we have a political element to who is in charge of the censorship, who is in charge of the leadership. And so, Benjamin, when you ask Steve and you claim that he is atheist, as if like you're trying to define him for the sake of outing him or something, I think everybody likes.
Outing him, he brazenly claims to be Jewish and atheist.
I know, but you've never heard of a paradox, Benjamin? Can't a man just be contradictory without always being, critically analyzed for it? Isn't that just part of life?
There's nothing contradictory about being a Jewish atheist. Nothing.
And there's
Actually, Benjamin, let me try to go back to your other question. Why are people annoyed? This is why. It really, the fact that in Jewish culture and Jewish identity, you could be a Jewish atheist, and that's not a contradiction, is really irrelevant. What's relevant here is you telling other people what they are. That's what people get annoyed with. Right? So and I don't know why you have this kind of bug up your butt about telling people what they are. Right? You actually, it's very strange, right? Because you have an allergy to the kind of identity politics that they talk about all the time, and identity. So I think John was right. You're trying to out somebody. Look, you have an identity.
Yeah,
that's why people get annoyed with.
Yeah, and sorry, Caleb. The bottom line, Benjamin, is that religion did not work for
you were talking.
Religion, Benjamin, did not work for you. Religion works for me.
Yeah. All right. I want to respond to Caleb's point.
Respond. Come on, guy.
A good point. Identity is not something you claim. It is not something you are. That's bullshit. Identity is something you negotiate.
Which is to say, claim.
You don't negotiate it, you navigate it. What are you talking about?
Because some checks are cashed and some checks are not cashed. Steve is trying to cash a check at the bank Benjamin.
Don't bother. Don't worry about someone else's cash. Don't worry about anybody. Don't stop it. Stop it, Benjamin. You're concerned. Stop it. You don't actually care.
See, the problem with what Steve is saying is when he says that there is no contradiction in being a Jewish atheist. I just went to Chabad yesterday, and if I were to ask the rabbi about what Steve said, he would say, what? No. So Steve, you're making an all or nothing statement, which is considered a cognitive distortion disorder. How do you defend yourself being an atheist Jew and say there's no contradiction?
Well, I'll tell you, because you didn't ask the rabbi, are there Jewish atheists? You didn't ask the rabbi that question. So I suggest that next time you go to Chabad, you ask the rabbi, do Jewish atheists exist? And please get back to us and let
Come on,
us
Steve.
know
I
what the
know
rabbi
Jewish.
said.
I know Jewish atheists exist, and I don't need to go to ask the rabbi anything. I'm
So
here
you
asking
admit
you.
we do exist.
Of course you exist, but how do you defend?
So then what's the contradiction?
Because according to cognitive behavioral therapy, it says you're making an all or nothing statement, and that's considered a cognitive distortion disorder. Do you not have ears? I know you don't have eyes anymore, but do you still have ears?
All or nothing in the statement.
Do you still have ears? I know your eyes are shutting off, but are your ears still working? Hello? Hello?
Okay, here it is. My thoughts on God are atheistic. It's not my identity. I'm not an atheist. I don't wear it as a badge of honor. My thoughts are atheistic on God, but it's not something it's not a label that I am an atheist. My thoughts are. So it's not even that important to me. And I think that's why religious people get offended, because they are Christians. They are, religious Jewish people, or they are Muslims. And so that's why people get offended. But I am not an atheist. My thoughts are atheistic on the matter.
Look, I think offending people is the point, right? Like when you try to negotiate an identity claim that cannot be captured in any way. Like if I were to say I'm a Pastafarian, I believe in his noodly appendage, giant spaghetti monster. The purpose of all of that is to offend. In other words, I'm trying to cash.
Who is it meant to offend? Who's it meant to offend?
It's meant to confront and offend people because it challenges their very ability to negotiate identity.
This is the fucking dumbest. I'm so sorry. This is about to be triggered right now. This is the dumbest ass thing I've ever heard. Okay, people choose identities. You're so fucking cynical, right? This notion that it's about that the way that the reason that I choose an identity has something to do with anybody else except me.
You know what, Caleb? It's interesting, this last dialogue within the past 60 seconds, because what I noticed about this specifically is Benjamin just admitted that when he talks to me or about me regarding my atheism and or Judaism, he's doing it to offend. His purpose is to offend.
Yes, I heard that too.
You misunderstood.
Oh, I don't think I misunderstood at all. I think I got it black and white, no gray, baby.
And the recording's on. That's exactly what you said, sweetheart.
So, well, go check the recording then. The claim of identity is almost always to create a superlative, superior identity and claim it. And often, and therefore create an inferior identity and claim that other people are that thing. When I say, for example, that I'm indigenous, I'm saying there's a kind of person who is not indigenous, has no right to exist, and I am the kind of person that has the right to exist. That's the purpose of saying I'm indigenous, right? It is
That's what Aunt
No, it isn't. No, it isn't.
Benjamin. That's what Ayn Rand says when she says she will not sacrifice herself for others, and she does not expect others to sacrifice themselves for others. You guys can argue this atheism does God exist show. It's basically a formatted show, which is prove to me God exists. It's a comedy gong shong show. You're just a participant on the show, Benjamin. I hate to break the bad news to you, but if you're not creating something and you're just a passive guest that comes on to receive the gong, well, great. But My complaint and critique of the atheists is not that God does or does not exist, or that we can't logically disprove the non-existence of God. It's that it's really just a book club, and the atheists who claim there is no God refuse to get on stage to read a book to an audience and actually have some fun. And that, as an artist, it's just my critique, or the critic in me telling atheists that you guys can't pick up a script and run a program. You guys are basically not computer scientists for being so scientific. It's just for fun. And so that's my criticism of the atheists that refuse to use the books to have fun. That's the problem.
If you wanna have fun, I will debate you anytime, anywhere about the existence of God, and I will win and you will lose if you want to really have fun.
But how are you going to prove to me that God exists when you're an atheist? What are you talking about?
All you have to do is agree to the debate anytime, anywhere. I'll be there.
Okay, I'll see you behind the kindergarten, maybe at 3 p.m., little Stevie.
And basically that's saying, sorry, Steve, but I'm not going to debate you because I know I will
Steve,
lose.
I don't... See, this is why I don't think you have ears. I know you barely have eyes anymore, but I don't think you have ears.
Lot of ears.
Well, you don't...
It's
you're not...
fun.
Go ahead and repeat back to me what I even said. You're challenging me to a debate. We're doing it right now.
The existence of God. No one here, by the way, I have ears. Do you? No one has argued in the past 30 minutes I've been here whether or not God exists. No one's argued that. So maybe it's you that need ears.
Atheists say they have a lack of belief in God, not that God doesn't exist. And if you're going...
What are you talking about, Yoni? It's an all or nothing statement with atheists. They say God does not exist. What are you talking about? There's not a little bit of God in that equation. There's no God in that equation.
What I say. I'm an atheist.
Atheist says that.
Well, everybody's going to say their own particular position. I mean, Yoni, you're trans. How do you view the trans ideology in terms of God belief?
You're supposed to be calling me a Christian, sweetheart.
Because to me, trans ideology is really what happens when the pawn crosses the threshold and becomes a queen. A transformation. It's in religion. Adam was essentially the first, non-binary. Adam supposedly was trans, and that's how Eve came out.
Why are you moving the goalpost, bringing in trans?
Because we're talking about God or not God.
Homosexual man, I'm a homosexual man. How can you believe in God? I'm talking to you.
Are you talking to me or Steve? Because Steve's part of the lifestyle, not me.
Okay, the bus officially went off the fucking cliff right there.
Oh, this bus been off the cliff.
So what's your proof that I'm trans? I mean, that's what you believe. Now give me the proof.
It's my opinion you're trans.
Oh, okay, yeah. It's, in my opinion, you're a homosexual. So I mean, we're good.
Oh, well, I can quickly disprove that if you'd like to know how. I can prove I'm gay.
You guys are all
How do you disprove a concept?
Just to correct that and go back to the title of the room. And part of what we mean by, or what I meant by the Reality Restoration Project, is not choosing to believe in things that you don't actually have any kind of evidence for. As a general principle, getting back to things that can be verified, not things that you believe, right, or things that you like. Largely, what we're saying, I believe this or I believe that, is that, I am going to go on the record and say, I think this is a thing, even though I don't know. I'm just saying, refrain from that. And a lot of the language we've been here has been, you're lying, which tends to happen all the time. People get hot and bothered. Again, as we started before it started, before we really started getting into it, you don't know if the person's lying. They could be stupid. They could just be wrong, right? So,
I get it, but since we know that God is a concept, how do we disprove a concept that doesn't exist? It's just a concept. It's like the ego or being gay. They don't exist.
I think you are so-and-so. You're just a person thinking a thing with no verification for it. That's fine. You can think what you want. That doesn't make it an opinion. It makes
Well, I'm just saying that people on this app actually can't tell me the difference between truth and opinions or facts and opinions, and that when I say I'm gay, it's just a concept. And when you say God, it's just a concept. So if you're an atheist, how do you sit here and argue about a concept that does not exist? And it's basically, it's the Prove to Me God Exists show. It's just for clowns to come up, to give their shtick, and then get donged. Hello?
The concept of atheism absolutely exists because the definition is those humans that do not believe in God. There are 500 million humans that do not believe in God. Therefore, it does exist. What the fuck are you talking about?
Okay, so I haven't said anything, but I just want to jump in real quick. Atheists wouldn't exist without God. Okay? That's beautiful. I love that.
It's also true. It's also true.
Thing to say.
Let me pay a
No, it's not. Atheists wouldn't exist without your belief of something that you don't have evidence for.
A quick comment.
It was a joke, bro.
It's just a compliment. I admire your confidence. That usually comes along with competency when you're talking about the lesson. So I just wanted to let you know I admire you.
You have realized.
Oh, Ray Ray! Hey, Ray Ray! Yeah.
I just want to say something.
Go ahead, Riri.
I never knew that Americans are very pathetic. I realized Middle Eastern are white. I was so confused, like the Scottish, Irish. I don't know if you're from Egypt, you're white. If you're from like Greek, you're white. I never knew that. How
So,
come?
Riri, you were just trolling chillism an hour ago, and now you're in here going to do the same thing,
No, but I'm
right?
just saying that if you're Greek and Portugal, you're white. How is that possible?
Listen, if the conversation about okay, so listen, there's an expression that says the more you think, the more you speak, the further from the truth you're going to get. So that's why I go back to this universal joke about God, meaning that if you create content about atheist versus theist debate, it's a great format, but it's still a yin yang, or you're basically
If I wanna
united.
get back to that point.
Hello?
So you said the more you speak, the further you get away from the truth.
Hello?
You're the one speaking the most in it.
That the history of categorizing people is a history of integrating the other.
What'd you say, Willis?
Well, I was hoping to get back to the point with Caleb, which is this notion of categorizing. We categorize people. The history of categorizing humans is a long history of denigrating
Absolutely, yeah.
the other.
I just wanted to know, like, I'm European. Like,
I'm not here for the Riri show, whatever that is, but I do want to have a substantive conversation.
I think we are having a substantive conversation.
I'm not here for the.
Benjamin, you're not a moderator, unfortunately. You can try to control and direct the conversation. However, we have to get to the crux of the matter.
It looks like he did. It looks like he did, but somehow she magically went away. I have no
Well, she's
idea
a
how
troll, though, but anyway.
She's a highly intoxicated, highly obnoxious person who has no value. I'm not necessarily here for the Benjamin show. Oh, I got moved. The show's over.
So I got a real quick question for Benjamin. What's the end game here from this discussion? I mean, like you and Steve going back and forth, and then Yoni and I jumping in, but I'm trying to follow it, but it's like.
No, what you missed is I was having a substantive conversation.
Substantive.
That is
No, I was here for that. I was
with by midwits.
Okay, but I still didn't answer my question, which is, what is the point that you're trying to make through all this crossfire?
Look, the epiphany I had today is that I have, like, if I was going to fill out the box, what religion are you? It'd probably be closest to atheist, right? So I don't believe, all these other religions, okay? So but what's weird is that the fact that I am labeled an atheist, because I don't believe in God, does not bother me.
More knowledge than Moses, Abraham, Solomon.
I would imagine, yeah, based on the lottery, they probably do a lot of that pre-qualifying stuff on the front end.
Probably, yeah, probably
Like,
right.
make sure,
Maybe I can
yeah.
apply and find out. Just see.
Ladies,
I can get it.
good afternoon, ladies, moderators. I came to be less social. I heard yesterday I was the topic of conversation. I was invited to your room yesterday, but I arrived too late. It had ended, so here I am in the flesh. Hello?
You were invited to what room?
To your room yesterday. I heard I was the topic of conversation.
Oh, I was offline all day yesterday, so I wouldn't know.
Well, that's what you think you were. I heard you yesterday, somnambulantly day sleepwalking, talking. You don't even know you're on here anymore when you're talking.
So is that gaslighting?
I'm pretty sure my daughter was graduating yesterday and I had out of town family all day.
Well, maybe it was the day before.
Rumors of you your name being bandied about are likely exaggerated.
Oh, really? You want to see the text message? Somebody text messaged me out of the blue. Somebody I've never text messaged with before was like, "Hey, they're talking about you in this room. Here's the link. Please come to the room." And I saved the number.
But I didn't have a room yesterday, John.
I know, maybe it was the day before. But it was, within the 48-hour period.
I'll be honest, Mr. Kitover, every time I hear someone mention you, it's because an anon comes in and they're like, what do you think if you have John Kitover? And it literally lasts maybe 3 seconds and then we move on to the next topic.
Yeah, that makes more
So whoever
sense.
sent that message to you, they're whack. And I would message them that they're whack. That's crazy as fuck. They really made you think that we were over here just dissing on you or something.
No, not like you guys
Sorry,
were writing an essay about me. I mean, what you said makes sense to me.
Good.
Yeah. But anyways, I was
That's all I left.
just bringing it up because, it was like an unsolicited text message from somebody I don't communicate with or, didn't even know who they were.
Special though.
What?
Particularly because I'm probably one of few that don't just remove you on site.
Yeah, well, I was just eventually I get removed, so it's nice of you to say you don't on-site remove me, but you know that within at least a 10 to 30 minute period, you're eventually going to kick me from the room. And,
I never kick you from my rooms, John. If you're getting removed, it's not by me.
well, I was just in a room for about 20 minutes talking about, in an atheist versus theist debate room, and then eventually I got kicked. So I'm just saying, I am here to be...
Now, I will goo you.
Okay.
I've definitely gooed you before. I don't kick you from the room, though.
You slimed me. The thing is, this app actually is very political. It actually is like its own little political hierarchy communication network game with green beans and goos and stages and listening gallery. It's fun. That's the thing is it's really like a 3D simulator video game. And, because I put it all on YouTube, it adds this layered experience for myself and maybe for some of the other people who, that's the thing is I can't even go back to my own YouTube channels and watch any of the live streams because that would be cloning or duplicating and just wasting time. But anyways,
I just want to tell you, I don't like coming in rooms with you when you're YouTubing stuff.
Yeah.
I think you're a goofy idiot. Thanks.
You're welcome.
Hey, Sam.
You're welcome. But see, when you say...
Are you recording us right now, John?
Well, when Sam says that I'm a goofy idiot, I think that's just projection. Because I don't think I'm goofy. Yeah, I don't think I'm an idiot. I don't think I'm that goofy. I know I'm trying to be a little funny, but not like a goof. A goof is like a stupid person.
Here's the thing, Kitover. I don't block your accounts. I used to. But I reached a point of... if you can't beat them, join them. I don't think you're an idiot. I don't kick you from this room. So if you're getting kicked from this room, it's not...
I'm not getting kicked from this room. And all I'm trying to say, in your room, is that I really have nothing to say other than I just came in here to tell you that I got this amazing text message from some random person saying, hey, here's a link to get snatched. They're talking about you. Please join the room. You want it?
Who sent it to you?
Somebody text messaged me. They didn't tell me their name. But I saved the number, and that's that. Anyways, it's not like it.
Back channel me that number. Back channel me that number real quick. Thank you.
Well, what's important is what you said. Is that nothing was really interesting. Like, if you guys are ripping on me and roasting me, I just want to hear it because it's fun. I love.
No problem roasting on you in person.
Yeah, I love getting roasted. Yeah! Yeah! Change the title. Let's roast John Kitover. Let's roast up John Kitover for brunch. The roast of John Kitover for brunch.
That sounds like a good time.
That's a great room title.
Can we change the title? Kitover roast beef.
It's the Kitover roast beef room. No vegetarians allowed.
That's right. I think we need to do something exciting.
That's true. We need to have a little.
Don't tell Kitover how you really feel.
I like that.
Let John Kitover help you process your lack of emotional intelligence.
We should even mod Kitover once.
Oh, don't tempt yourselves with a good time.
Except that he'll just boom the room.
What are you talking? I'm not gonna boom your room. I'm here filming content.
I feel like there's probably, I mean, you tell me if you think this is true or not. I don't know that there's anything anybody could say to you that you haven't already heard.
Well, that's what I told myself. That's what I told my psychiatrist after I was 5150. I feel like I've heard everything anyone has ever already said, and there's nothing new that's ever gonna be said. And he was like, "Uh-oh."
I mean, don't you feel like they all say the same thing? I don't consent to your permission to record me, Mr. Kitover, and you're a disgusting, weird, creepo pervo who sits in your underwear on Instagram. I mean, I just feel like they all come with the same freaking spiel.
Sometimes he
blah, blah, blah.
Sometimes he wears a ball cap. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I got a lot of different hats. It kind of shows the progression of time on my YouTube channel, and I also,
I like it.
Yeah, I like covering up my bald head because when I see my bald head versus my head with with a hat, I'm like, I look a lot better with a hat than with a big shiny forehead.
Dang, you can't rock it? Dang.
This isn't a Pitbull concert. So, Rabono Shel Olam, social less, I say that's really what people need, which is the book club. And my argument in the atheist theist room is that whether or not God exists or does not exist, most of the complainers who are atheists refuse to pick up any book and read any of it in a performative, artistic way. So what they're really refusing to do is to have fun. And their fun is dunking and roasting theists, people that like the books. So it's a pathetic position, usually inhabited by blobs, men or women who are blobs. And, I got to get my schwitz on soon. That means I'm going to go for a power walk, make myself another espresso, and get my sweat going. And then I'm going to go do some yoga poses and pull-ups at the park and push-ups and dips and sit-ups. And then maybe another hip rotation and another hip rotation. Then I'm going to pull on my hamstring. Then I'm going to do some sit-ups. Oh, it's so beautiful outside. Rabono Shel Olam.
Nice.
If anyone doesn't think God exists, how do you explain a summer day when the bees and the birds, how do you actually explain the happening of the world?
I don't know.
I don't think they have ears.
To get out there and observe the happening in the world.
Earth.
To even contemplate
Earth.
explaining the happening.
Earth.
That's right.
The secret is in the ears.
Can't wear your skivvies.
I'm going to put a Speedo on and go jogging in a Speedo. Someone call the police. There's a white man in a Speedo jogging at the park.
A white man
What is
with
this? You're a white skivvy.
Oh my God, Monica. I mean, I love you, Monica. I think you're a sweet person and you're funny and you got a great laugh. And I think you add a lot of value and personality and character to this app. But the other day, for 2 hours, talking about that stupid bastard at the park who decided to start feeding treats to the Karen who took the dog off the leash, I've taken my dog off at the beach. And the same experience happened to me. There's always that yin to yang and reversal and opposite of the universe that matches you when you decide to take your dog off leash. That's because of personal responsibility. When a dog owner doesn't value their dog and lets their dog do discovery on its own with no, ownership intervention, that's when problems begin. So anyways, I'm just saying, to talk about it for so long, what a waste of time. We all know that if you are a dog owner and you mistreat and abuse your dog by taking your dog off leash so it can be harmed, you are a jerk. And that Karen is a jerk. Keep your dog on leash and don't let assholes at the park or the beach that want to call you out on your shit, don't let them call you out in the first place, because don't take your fucking dog off leash. Maintain control. Practice personal responsibility. Hello? And I think Serendipity said the same thing, right?
That's right. That's right.
Cleaning up after your dog.
And that too, because I can talk up on.
But I will just say, in Monica's defense, when I took my dog off leash at the beach, I was the only one there. The fucking guy ran from the boardwalk to the beachfront and was screaming it. And my dog was the most innocent, non-harmful, non-aggressive, small little nothing. And this guy, he's like, a dog bit me at the beach a week ago. And he was a beachfront Karen. And, I was actually kind of worried because, if he called the police on me, I don't want to get a ticket. So I picked up my dog and I left. But that beachfront Karen was very annoying. And he's lucky that I'm not an aggressive, nasty person. And I just wanted to avoid the conflict and de-escalate. So I left. But there are people out there that will not de-escalate. And they will enhance the conflict. And that's the problem with maybe some of the people that have green beans in this room right now. Instead of de-escalating for peace of mind and your own well-being, I think some of you ladies may have in your past, unfortunately, escalated a situation instead of de-escalating. And therefore, well, maybe not, because really it's your experience. And so from your experiential perspective,
It's also my decision, right? It's also my decision.
but is it a smart decision? Is it a smart decision? Is it your best choice to make? That's what I'm questioning.
To decide, don't you think? Because what if I escalate on somebody who is just, a troll or whatever on this app, versus if we were to escalate on somebody who is well-renowned doctor and has a Nobel Peace Prize, then maybe I can hear the argument on what's smart and unsmart. But that's a relative decision to somebody who has autonomy.
Well, you have your autonomy.
Decisive people, right?
You have your autonomy, and you will always be in charge of your choice. I am merely a critic trying to suggest that to optimize your choices, good books and philosophy, as opposed to clown house scumbag, annoying schmucks who just don't stop talking on this app as if their advice or life experiences in any way, shape, or form shape your experience for a better way. It doesn't. Listening to Brad talk about jumping into a pond to take a selfie with an alligator doesn't make my life any better by listening to it. But if it's content on YouTube, it's got a little value. Just a little.
That Brad voice is a turn on. Go ahead.
Girl.
Well, he told Beema yesterday.
Saying you're asking us not to listen to what Brad is doing when he goes on these diatribes and these monologues and these long-winded tantrums.
Well, he told
spewed with vulgarity. We get it.
He told Beema yesterday he was gonna shove it up her ass.
But I
And Bima got excited. Bima got excited. Bima was so happy. I find it amazing how people see, like, you might mix with somebody that you danced with before, and that's part of life. But I'm just saying, I think eventually this app will shut down, and that these conversations will no longer take place, and that all this communication network will completely disappear as if it never happened to begin with. Because I remember what my life was like before this app, and I was very happy, and I was doing my creative thing. But because of somebody I knew that was using this app and knew I was a creative person, said, you gotta come on this app. And all I can say is that person ripped me off for $10,000, but eventually they gave me my money back because I told them what would happen if they didn't give me my money back. And they agreed that my legal, notification was of sufficient harm to their position. And they said, okay, I'm going to give you your money back. So they gave me my money back. All I'm saying is I was happier before this app, and I will be happier when this app shuts down. And the other day, a week or two ago, when this app shut down for 2 hours, I was so happy. I was so happy.
John, I've given you a lot of floor space, but I do have one quick question about the statement that you just made. I was happier before Clubhouse came along, and I will be happier after Clubhouse is long gone. Do you think there's a little bit of accountability in that you could choose that happier at any point in time? You don't have to rely on other people? Okay, just wondered. Hi, Francie. Good morning. How are you?
I'm good. It's afternoon, my dear, but yeah, I've been doing some housework and continue to just roll on. I came on Clubhouse this morning and it was a little chaotic. I think Vera was around to see that and Joe B. And it was like I went into 2 different rooms. I don't need to say where, but it was like I felt like I was in preschool. And I'm not kidding, like, and it was mostly men that were talking, but they were talking baby talk. It was so odd, but then cussing and talking about getting drunk and stuff. But their voices were like baby talk, and it was like, it's like 7th grade boys behavior, kind of like that. What Vera and Jimmy, maybe y'all. And then I went to another room and it was the same thing, and I just thought, I'm losing my mind. Are there any adult ones left?
I know. I was gonna start a room too, but serendipity pinged me.
Oh my goodness gracious.
Girl, I started some mess this morning too, a little bit on this app, so I was like, I gotta get away.
I can answer your question. Serendipity, I think there's some projection in the question that you asked me. I would ask you to ask the question again, and then ask yourself the question. Hello?
In my question. Let me tell you something. I was not. Here's the difference between you and I. I was not happier when I came to Clubhouse. There for a time, I think I needed the socialization of Clubhouse amongst peers that didn't intimately know my situation. And I generally work pretty hard to curate the experience that I have here. And when the net benefit or the net negative outweighs the net positive, I will be gone. That's the difference. But you're the one that said I was happier before and I will be happier when it's long gone.
Yeah, that's what I said. I know what I said. I know what I said. I'm saying that it's still just your opinion that there's a difference between you and me. Right from the very beginning of your statement, you said, here's the difference between me and you. Well, it's just your opinion that there's a difference between me and you. No, I heard what you said. I'm getting to the first part of what you said. It's just your opinion. It's just your opinion. And you can't even tell me the difference between an opinion and a fact. Go ahead. I'll wait. let me hear your opinion on what the difference is between what an opinion is and what a fact is.
We don't have to. We don't have to.
I already said it, and it was an opinion versus.
Well, you can't do it because it's a trick question, and maybe you're too smart to not answer a trick question because there are no facts, ladies and gentlemen. There's just these things called opinions. Hello?
And opinions are like assholes. We all have one.
I
Exactly.
think he intentionally talks to see which moderators will tolerate him.
Well, I told you when I first got here that eventually I would be kicked.
He keeps the tolerating.
I told you what was going to happen before it happened.
Okay, hold on.
I unblocked Alistair, but this one's blocked Ein.
I don't.
Listen, Anonymous.
Honestly, I don't even generally mind John.
Listen, if there's an
He
anon.
doesn't get under my skin like he does a lot of
If you put
people.
a sock in it once in a while so that.
Yeah, he just talks a lot sometimes. It's like.
I just want Francie to speak.
Shake.
Wait, John, put a sock in it for a minute.
I know. I just wanted to say one last thing. That if there is an anon, if there's an anon in your room and you don't know who it is, there's a good chance it's me. But if you want to confirm it's me, all you have to do is go to YouTube and type in John Kitover, click on any live to confirm whether or not that anon is me.
Yeah, we know.
Oh, okay.
We know. Thanks, Boo. Appreciate you.
Hello.
Good job. Monica, you were saying?
That I blocked this account, but I unblocked Alistair.
Oh.
But when I find you streaming rooms that are not on replay, you'll always get removed by me with a swiftness that will make your little PTR spin.
There you go.
PTR spinner. But the thing is about the anon is you can't kick out an anon and you can't stop me from live streaming your room. So Serendipity has the right type of attitude when she says, I just gave up because what's the point? And that's the truth is you never should have cared from the beginning. And that's a you problem.
That was me.
If I want to have a kid over free room, I just have them in the house. That's all I have to do. I don't have to worry about kiddos.
We've learned to get around this. You know, John, that you think that you're like teaching us something. No, we're allowing you.
You haven't gotten around anything. That's the point. You've gotten around nothing. You've gotten around nothing.
It's so silly to me. Like it's just so funny.
I know it's so juvenile. It's so pedestrian.
Oh, Francie's talking. Let Francie talk.
I just want to know, like, this is for the whole room. Why do you want to be in a space where no one wants you? If you're getting the signal that you're not welcome, then that's because.
Francie, because that's what the Bible tells me to do, Francie.
And I know the answer to that.
That's what the Bible tells me to do.
For everybody to think about.
I read the Bible. The Bible told me to do it.
I don't know. Mocking God is not really something
It's not mockery, Francie. You want to hear the verse? That's your opinion. It's mockery. You want to see the verse? Hello? You didn't even ask. You didn't even ask. You just said it's like your opinion or something. I think I got a shelf space, like a life space, like when you buy food, do not use after this date. Very rarely does it say that. So some people risk it, spoiled milk. So Francie, I'm just saying that if you want to know the verse, you could ask me or Google. Look it up. It's from a book. Many people on this app don't read books anymore. So if you read a book today, you're in the top 1%.
Did you just quote the Reading Rainbow?
No, but the other day when you were in my room, Monica, and I was reading from a book, and then I got to that part about reading from books and how important it is, you left. You left the reading room.
I will always leave you, John.
Okay, one of the reasons why I was so patient was I did just complete a text conversation with being on Monica, so.
Oh, God, how is she?
Yeah, she's good. She's fine. Nothing dramatic, nothing problematic. She's just got some stuff at home
going on, and she needs to redirect some attention. Alrighty. Mm-hmm.
Well, it's exhausting having to water
It's
up.
always a good place to come when you need to be heard. I appreciate that.
Yeah, that's true. It is basically free talk therapy access to your psychiatrist to office anytime you want it, and that's part of the problem. Because the truth is that people who come here to get their rapid release dopamine from talking, oh, I just jumped into a lake and took a selfie with an alligator. I am Viking. America!
Is that Brad? Hello, Brad.
America! I went out with a Hollywood actress once. And she was useless. We went out deep into the forest, and I said, here's a small shovel. Dig us a slit trench so we can take a shit. She was completely ineffective in digging a slit trench. These girls, even though they like to be action characters on the big screen, in the real world, in the forest, they're useless. Useless. So I gave up on Hollywood actresses. I gave up on them completely because they are useless. Useless. I am Brad the Viking Warrior!
Where'd Monica go? Ellen!
Hi, Francie. How
How
are
are you today?
Good, good. How are you?
One of my favorite people.
Thank you. You too. Um, John, is that you?
Yeah, that was my Brad the Viking Forest Warrior speech from yesterday.
Oh, I'm sorry I didn't hear it. I was using speech to text to message someone. But I did want to say, you probably missed it, but when Clubhouse was actually normal, the Ayn Rand Society had, like twice a week, had rooms in which they discussed various topics related to Ayn Rand and related to politics of the day. I think you would have found that interesting.
Well, see, there's
Is
two.
that Ayn Rand?
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
there's.
Ayn Rand, yeah, sorry.
See, Alan, I'm in a book club. This beautiful brunette, Alan, got in my face last night and just wouldn't leave me alone. I was so happy. She was so cute. And as she was pushing her beautiful face closer to my face, she said, "Do you have any advice for me?" And I said, "Yeah." I was like, personal development never stops. Start a book club and read books. Read them out loud and always be engaged with books your whole life starting now. She was like, "Oh, I love that for me." And then her friend cock blocked me and dragged her away. And I said, "Goodbye, beautiful. Goodbye."
Yeah, it's always the jealous friends who ruin things. That's happened to me more than once. So that's life. That's life. Yeah, you know, it may surprise people to know that I'm trying to think how to put this. A lot of reading the classics informs a lot of what's happening today, and one realizes, well, gee whiz, nothing's new today. You know, so you read a book like The Bostonians, and you see a very detailed description of what the feminists did at that time, and you see that, well, gee, there's nothing new. They're not doing anything new today. Or reading a book like The Idiot by Dostoevsky and realizing his commentary
on atheists or liberals from the 1800s is no different than anything happening now.
You're so right about that, and it makes me think of the stack of ladders. Our friend Sig is really into like old.
I got kicked from the room! I got kicked from the room! I said it was gonna happen. It happened, I think, 30 minutes in.
Extending the railway.
Time for a new anonymous show!
Is expanding because
Time for the anonymous show. Time to go.
And they put a university out there, so it's the same thing. But Fresno might be impacted, Bakersfield might be impacted, everything else in between.
We got you, Monica.
Like St. Louis and
We got you, Monica.
So
Monica.
I've seen it happen. And I was wondering why Merced kind of like all of a sudden blew up. It's because people can't afford to live in the South Bay, so they go more inward. You can't do Santa Cruz, right? You got to go inside. And what's there in between farmland and the Silicon Valley is Merced.
Hi, good afternoon, guys. If it's a good time, wouldn't mind responding to the question that Tiffany asked earlier, because I thought it was quite interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I'm seeing in the chat, but the point is, Brian, like I said, like, it was just to show, like, we're having this conversation about, these advances, quote unquote, but, because this company filed bankruptcy, then it's $550 million. So, anywho, I read the article. I actually was aware of it in April. It's just something that's very sad to me. It's just something that's very, very sad, So, it's just unnecessary. And it especially when we're talking about, we have, food pantries that need things. I'm like, how come, like you said, Misa, like, how come, I guess there were no more employees to, like, harvest the fruit, but that, I don't know. And maybe I don't know enough about it, but I'm just like, yeah, that's terrible, Lefa. Like, yes, I know they filed bankruptcy, but we save corporations that file bankruptcy all the time. But, yeah, that is just 50,000 tons of peaches. That just seems like such an incredible waste to me. Like, we're talking about robots, but we can't save the damn peaches. I would get the peaches if I was in California. I'll let it go, y'all.
They should hand the peaches out. This is what I'm not understanding. They might not be able to give every fucking peach out. I don't know what stage of decomposition they're in. I don't know what is going on. But the fresh produce like that, why not just hand it out? There are restaurants who probably come pick it up, bakeries who come pick it up. You said it, pantries who get, I don't know. So I'm sure that people have been reaching out to them after they heard that they got all these peaches, that they can send this stuff out across the state. They send peaches and fruit all up across the states anyway. Why can't you? I'm sure there are groups who have volunteered to come get the peaches, because this farm guy had in Southern California, this guy who owned a horse ranch. His ranch is in the middle of a fire. I read there's a fire up there now. Maybe by, y'all have to tell me what the name of that city is. I guess Ventura County, somewhere in Simi Valley. I'm not sure. So, guess what happened? He got on social media because he didn't have any more hay. And those people, the horse people, I guess is a small community, he's getting hay from all over the country. And the people who own the ranches are sending these 18-wheelers with hay all from all around the country. He's filmed it to donate to him. Excuse me, I'm sorry. So there seems to be a will, maybe no will, but a way. I don't know. I really don't. But that sounds like a waste, and it sounds like they're doing it on purpose. I could be wrong. Let's investigate more.
So something you could do, and I encourage everybody, just for your own personal edification, to know what your somewhat local economy is experiencing. Just Google what are the mass layoffs in your state for this year or last year, and it will show you all of these different organizations and explain why. So just not, I know that sometimes people will say like, oh, well, I can't relate to these fruit farms that are having X, Y, and Z. But if you look, like in Tennessee, people don't know we've had major plant closures for Bridgestone, General Motors, a significant number of the companies that are involved in like lumber manufacturing, all those things. It's not just isolated to like, oh, we don't have migrant workers to work these fields. It is all of these jobs in the labor force that we were promised would come back to the U.S. and be amazing. And a lot of them are around, the EV demand keeps changing. Just general, like people just aren't buying some of the things they used to buy. And so I just encourage everybody, take a minute, look those things up, see what the layoffs, how the layoffs are looking in your area, to kind of understand what, not necessarily if your industry is in danger, but what you could probably anticipate as like the next industry to be affected. But like, I'm so glad you came up because I do want to hear. I'm not trying to say that no jobs will be gone, but I want to better understand the concern so I can ask my friends in other spaces like, what are you doing as far as AI or technology, and how is that impacting how you are going about your staff?
Oh, no, I appreciate it, Tiffany. I mean, I didn't want to come across the wrong way in the chat because it's chat. So I wasn't stating that you are delusional, of course. I mean, I was just stating that there's a lot of people who believe that there won't be displacement or actual loss in staff and positions and capabilities as a result of AI. But I think what I liked particularly about your submission is that you spoke to alternate ways in which the key word is deployment can actually happen. So, as you're probably familiar, ChatGPT, OpenAI just launched their deployment agency. And the reason for that is the issue that a lot of corporations did not understand the value of AI and how it can actually be used within the organization. So, I mean, of course, a lot of people would assume that, replacing jobs is the necessary conclusion. But like you stated earlier, I mean, there's upskilling, there's ways that we can actually improve the capabilities of, of individuals within the workforce without removing the jobs. So when you ask the question, I mean, particularly which jobs I think will be displaced, the question comes down to the organization and where they think the bottlenecks are. So, I mean, actually recently, and I mean, I'll share this because it's not that important, I actually applied for a position with Anthropic. I didn't get it, but I had an interview. And the question was related to my industry that I was in previously, which was insurance, as to what deployment would actually look like. So, I mean, the questions you'd ask, of course, is what are the bottlenecks? What are the expenses? What are the pains that these corporations are actually having? So within insurance, a lot of it had to do with the fact that, like you said, for your positions, I mean, a lot of people don't find insurance sexy. So there wasn't a lot of new staff coming into insurance. And in terms of cost, a lot of people are not aware, but I mean, commissions is actually the largest cost center for insurance companies. So they were interested in ways they could actually reduce that, whether it is deals or automation or processes that would actually be easier for them to access the market without agents necessary. So of course agents would lose their job in that sense, but it would just mean less commission. So to answer your question, I mean, I try to be as high level as possible because I literally believe, like you said, that the way that the technology is deployed is actually very agnostic. So it's going to depend on the organization. It's going to depend on the cost centers. It's going to depend on, like you said, I mean, whether they believe that, the liability.
Now ye shall know that the chosen priest, that ox of infinite space, is the prince, priest, the beast, and in his woman called the Scarlet Woman is all power given. They shall gather my children into their fold. They They shall bring the glory of the stars into the hearts of men. 16, for he is ever a sun and she a moon, but to him is the winged secret flame, and to her the stooping starlight, but ye are not so chosen. 18, burn upon their brows, O splendorous serpent. 19, O azure-lidded woman, bend upon them. 20, the key of the rituals is in the secret word which I have given unto him. Now ye shall know that the chosen priest has still infinite space.
What up, Joe? I just got kicked out of Serendipity's room by Monica. Monica? Bunch of Karens, in my opinion. What are you doing today?
I'm just doing some computer work. I was watching Trump speak right now.
Did you see Meta? You live in Louisiana, right?
Now I live in Alabama. I used to live in Louisiana.
I used to have a good friend in the Army from Shreveport. He was a very, very cool guy. But Meta's $10 billion Louisiana data center is getting $3.3 billion in tax breaks, more than 7 years of the state's entire police budget. But anyways, what is Trump doing? Is he in the Rose Garden or something?
No, he's in the where the press secretary speaks.
Oh, really?
He's talking about the war with Iran.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, that's live right now. He's been talking for a while.
If you were locked.
Let me pull it up.
I think they're about to ramp it up again.
Yeah. Ivan Ranklin just said now that Thomas Massey's gone.
He got attacked, and it had the reverse effect. The neighbors came onto our side and started attacking them, and actually quite successfully. If you look at Saudi Arabia, you look at UAE, Qatar, and others, but they were strong and they were smart, but they got attacked. Nobody, when I first heard it, I said, no, somebody made a mistake. There was no mistake. UAE had over 1,000 missiles shot at it, knocked them almost all down. On the very first day I came down the escalator in 2015, I said, quote, I will stop Iran from getting nuclear weapons. And all I'm doing is keeping my promise. Think of that. That was in 2015. I said it. It was a threat then and a much bigger threat now, but no longer a threat, not for a long time anyway. We want to keep it that way as we continue Operation epic fury. We're also focused on keeping energy and oil flowing to the world. And I will not allow a terrorist regime to hold the world hostage and attempt to stop the globe's oil supply. And if Iran does anything to do that, they'll get hit at a much, much harder level. I will take out those targets that were easy and that I mentioned just before. We'll take them out so quickly, they'll never be able to recover, ever. If they want to play that game, they better not play that game. In the long run, oil supplies will be dramatically more secure without the threat of Iranian ships, drones, missiles, nuclear menace, or anything. So the Strait of Hormuz is going to remain safe. We have a lot of Navy ships there. We have the best equipment in the world, inspecting for mines. Again, most of their ships are down at the bottom of the sea. We will hit them so hard that it will not be possible for them or anybody else helping them to ever recover that section of the world if they do anything. In recent years, the regime and its terror proxies have launched attacks on hundreds of commercial vessels. We're putting an end to all of this threat once and for all, and the result will be lower oil prices, oil and gas prices for American families. We've done that. We've done it. We brought it very low. This was just an excursion into something that had to be done. We're getting very close to finishing that too. In the meantime, during this brief disruption, the United States is offering political risk insurance to any tankers operating in the Gulf. So we're putting up risk insurance. We'll perhaps go alongside of them for protection. We don't think it'll be necessary if it is. And if they do anything, the price will be incalculable. It will be so great that they will have wished they never did it, because you have to keep the straits flowing. With all of that, it affects other countries much more than it does the United States. It doesn't really affect us. We have so much oil. We have tremendous oil and gas, much more than we need. We have Venezuela now as our new partner, great partner. They've worked out so wonderful. We're working with the administration, the president, and it's a massive source of oil, gas, everything. But we're in a very good position, but very unfair to other parts of the world, like China as an example. I mean, we're doing this for the other parts of the world, including countries like China. They get a lot of their oil through the straits. So we're doing this. We have a very good relationship with President Xi in China. I'm going there in a short period of time, and we're protecting the world from what these lunatics are trying to do, and very successfully, I might add. We're also waiving certain oil-related sanctions to reduce prices. So we have sanctions on some countries. We're going to take those sanctions off until this straightens out. And who knows, maybe we won't have to put them on. There'll be so much peace. But when the time comes, the U.S. Navy and its partners will escort tankers through the strait if needed. I hope it's not going to be needed, but if it's needed, we'll escort them right through. And we have the greatest mine-sweeping ability. We have the greatest ships and all of it. We know exactly where they're placed. We'll get them out of there very fast, but we hope we don't have any of that. And again, if they do that, if they play that game, we're going to hit them at a level that they have not seen before. So we're winning very decisively. We're way ahead of schedule. Our military is the greatest in the world, with the greatest equipment and the greatest people in the world. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. Iran is a very powerful country. They were going to take over the Middle East. If we did not hit them, they were going to take over the Middle East. They had thousands and thousands since their last hit. They had thousands and thousands of missiles, everything else. Most are now destroyed. But they were going to take over the Middle East. Those weapons were aimed at Middle Eastern countries that had nothing to do with this. They were going to take over the Middle East, and they were going to try and destroy Israel. So we stopped it with good timing, and we're very proud to be involved in this, and it's going to be ended soon. And if it starts up again, they'll be hit even harder. Thank you very much for being here. Go ahead, any questions?
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Do you approve of Iran's new supreme leader? And secondly, can you tell us more about your call with Russian President Vladimir Putin today?
Yes.
What did you discuss?
Yes, I had a very good call with President Putin. We had a lot of people on the line from our side, from his side. We were talking about Ukraine, which is just a never-ending fight. And when look, there's tremendous hatred between President Putin and President Zelensky. They can't seem to get it together. But I think it was a positive call on that subject. Obviously talked then about the Middle East. And he wants to be helpful. I said, you could be more helpful by getting the Ukraine-Russia war over with. That would be more helpful. But we had a very good talk, and he wants to be very constructive. Yeah, please. Yeah, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. On Iran, you called it an excursion. You said it would be over soon. Are you thinking this week it will be over?
No,
You're talking about days?
I think soon.
Okay, and with respect
Very soon. Look, everything they have is gone, including their leadership. In fact, there are 2 levels of leadership, and even actually, as it turns out, more than that, but 2 levels of leadership are gone. Most people have never even heard about the leaders that they're talking about. So it's obviously been very, very powerful, very effective.
Back to Cuba, you said that Cuba wants to make a deal.
Yes.
What would the United States get in return for that, and why should Americans trust Marco Rubio to negotiate it?
Well, Marco Rubio is doing a great job. I think he's going to go down as the greatest Secretary of State in history. Look at what we've done as a president. Look at what we've done as an administration. They trust Marco, and so do the American people trust. He's been successful no matter where he's been. He also speaks the language, which is always nice and always helpful. But he's dealing, and it may be a friendly takeover. It may not be a friendly takeover. It wouldn't matter because they're down to, as they say, fumes. They have no energy. They have no money. They're in deep trouble on a humanitarian basis. And we don't want to see that, but they were very, very bad to a lot of people, as you know, and a lot of people living the Cuban-American vote, which I got at record levels. Very important. Those people are very important to me. I know what they went through. They went through hell. Some of them have gone on to be some of the most successful people in the country. Cuban-American business people, some of them are like the most successful.
As a freelancer and content creator, some months are great and some months are just not it. Here's how I make this way of earning.
Long time. The Castro regime was brutal, but they lived off Venezuela. Now they don't live off Venezuela. It sends them no energy, no fuel, no oil, no money, no nothing. They lived without Venezuela. They couldn't have made it, and we cut them off from everything else. So, they're going to make either a deal or we'll do it just as easy anyway. Yeah. Please, go ahead.
There's footage that showed that an American missile strike and a Tomahawk missile likely destroyed that Iranian girls' school. So will the U.S. accept any responsibility?
Well, I haven't seen it, and I will say that the Tomahawk, which is one of the most powerful weapons around, is used by, sold and used by other countries, you know that. And whether it's Iran, who also has some Tomahawks, I wish they had more, but whether it's Iran or somebody else, the fact that a Tomahawk is very generic, it's sold to other countries, but that's being investigated right now. Yeah, please.
Thank you. Thank you. Mr. President, you've said the war is, quote, very complete, but your defense secretary says this is just the beginning. So which is it, and how long should Americans be
Well, I think you can say both. It's the beginning of building a new country, but they have no Navy, they have no Air Force, they have no anti-aircraft equipment. It's all been blown up. They have no radar, they have no telecommunications, and they have no leadership. It's all gone. So, you could look at that statement. We could call it a tremendous success right now as we leave here. I could call it, or we could go further, and we're going to go further. But the big risk on that war has been over for 3 days. We wiped them out in the first 2 days. When you think about it, It's incredible. We wiped out a big navy, very powerful navy. You know, these were ships, these were serious ships. These were ships that you buy when you want to win battles. They're all on the bottom floor. The sailors are all running off their ships. They refuse to get on the ships. The Air Force is gone. Everything's gone. The missiles are down to a trickle. The drones are down to probably 25%, and they'll soon be down to nothing. We'll have where they manufactured the drones are under fire as we speak. They're being hit. So the rest is going to be determined.
He's attacking him as he's giving him a speech. Giving a speech.
The people in the Trump administration, what we want to do. Thank you. Yeah, please.
Can I ask you, you mentioned you were going to waive certain additional oil waivers or sanctions. Can you talk a little bit more about that and address the particular...
Well, we're looking to keep the oil prices down. We went artificially up because of this excursion into a very positive thing. I mean, this was an excursion that a lot of people wouldn't have done. I knew oil prices would go up if I did this, and they've gone up probably less than I thought they'd go up. But I don't think anybody thought we were going to be this quickly successful. This was a military success, the likes of which we have the best military. We have the best equipment. We have, I believe, the best generals. We have the best. And this went very quickly. We talked about that with President Putin. He was very impressed with what he saw because nobody's ever seen anything quite like it. You know, Iran is a very powerful military country with all of the missiles. Now, you had the double attack. You had the original attack with us in Israel, and that knocked them for a loop. Then you had the B-2 bombers, which took out their nuclear capability, and they would have had a nuclear weapon within 2 weeks to 4 weeks. And they would have used it long before this press conference. And we might have had a much different press conference if we had a press conference at all. But it's been amazing. The military success that we've had is truly unprecedented.
You've told your congressional colleagues that you will not sign any piece of legislation until the Save America Act is passed. Does that include confirmation of Senator Mullen as your next DHS secretary? Does that mean a DHS funding bill? And Senator Thune said today, it's not a matter of whether or not your Republican colleagues agree with the policy, it's about changing the process. In other words, getting rid of the filibuster to get there.
So in order to get it, you're going to need Democrat votes, and what we're saying is the Save America, not the SAVE Act, which nobody knew what it was, the Save America Act, the Save America Act. And that's voter ID. We want voter ID. We want to be able to see a picture of the voter. We want to be able to see that the voter is legitimate. We want, very importantly, confirmation that this voter is a citizen of the United States of America, and we want no mail-in ballot scams. So we have exceptions for the military, for sick, for disabled, and for people that are away, business trips or whatever. Even vacations will be very liberal in that. We've added 2 things to it: no men in women's sports and no transgender mutilization of our children. We don't want it's the mutilization of our children, and we don't want that. So we added those 2 things. That's the 5 very good points. It polls at 86%
Live
with Democrats. Think of that. The overall vote is 86%. With Republicans, it's 98%. And the only one opposing it is a Democrat leadership because they cheat. They want to cheat. So we added those 2 points. We're going for the gold, and we're going to have to fight like hell. Now, certain things will happen. Certain things will take place. I'm here to do a great job for the country. But we don't have a country if we're going to have elections that are so corrupt and so dishonest like we've witnessed over the last period of time. You know, as an example, virtually nobody has a system of mail-in ballots like we have. No other country in the world. France went away from it. They all went, you know why? Because it's corrupt. And Jimmy Carter, when he had a commission, frankly, I think it's probably the best thing Jimmy Carter did. He said, you can't have mail-in voting because it's inherently dishonest. And it's turned out to be totally dishonest, so we're going to fight for it. Yeah.
Has Iran activated any sleeper cells inside the U.S. There's reports that they have pressed that trigger button to activate those cells, at least abroad.
Well, they've been trying for a long time. We've been very much on top of it. One of the things we have to do is get the Democrats to stop the Democrat shutdown, because as you know, the apparatus that looks into that, Schumer and the Democrats have shut it down, which tells you they probably hate our country a lot. But the Democrats have to open that up. But we've got very, very good intelligence into that. We know a lot of different things that have happened that have been very bad. A lot of them came in during the Biden open border period, but we have them under, we've got them, we're watching every single one of them. Yeah, we know a lot about them. The biggest problem we have is the Democrat shutdown. We know a lot about them, but the shutdown doesn't allow us to do what we have to do.
Do you have to take him out? Does he have a target on his back?
You mean the new Supreme Leader? You mean the son?
How can there be an Iran?
Well, I don't want to say that, but, you know, I was disappointed because we think it's going to lead to just more of the same problem for the country. So I was disappointed to see their choice.
Thank you, sir. You've said you have someone in mind to be the new Iranian leadership, if not the Ayatollah's son. What are you looking for in that person? Are you looking at someone internal, given that you just said that their leadership has been
I like the
decided to
idea
wipe
of,
out?
internal and eternal, come to think of it. But I like the idea of internal because it works well. I mean, I think we've proven that so far in Venezuela. We have a woman, Delcy, who has been, president of the country, very respected, she's doing a great job. And it's, no disruption. We had, as you remember, Iraq, where everybody got fired. The military got fired, the police got fired, the politicians got fired. There was nobody. And you know what they turned into? ISIS. And we don't want that. We don't want that. So I would like to see people that are inside go. Now they talk about the son of the Shah. They talk about other people. But, hasn't been there in many, many years. We have a formula that's been very good so far, and I think it'll continue to be good. The relationship is extraordinary with Venezuela, smart country. We've taken out 100 million barrels of oil. It's right now in Houston being taken care of and made so beautiful. And you have to see this at work. They have, it's brought to the refineries. It's being refined in Houston, which is made exactly for that product. And so far, but it's 100 million barrels of oil, and now they have another 100 million barrels coming. And it's like a partnership. We're getting along so well with them. It's great for Venezuela, and it's great for the United States. Yeah, please go ahead.
Mr. President, you just suggested that Iran somehow got its hands on a tomahawk and bombed its own elementary school on the first day of the war. But you're the only person in your government saying this. Even your defense secretary wouldn't say that when he was asked, standing over your shoulder on your plane on Saturday. Why are you the only person saying this?
Because I just don't know enough about it. I think it's something that I was told is under investigation. But tomahawks are used by others, as you know. Numerous other nations have tomahawks. They buy them from us. But I will certainly, whatever the report shows, I'm willing to live with that report. Yeah, please.
You said earlier that we've already won in many ways, but we haven't won enough. What do you consider enough? What's your baseline?
Where they're not going to be starting the following day to develop a nuclear weapon. Where they'll look at that man and some other people from the administration and say, all right, we're not going to do it. They were not willing to say that. And when Steve called up and he said that to me, I said, well, here we go. Let's do it the hard way. But the hard way, I think, is probably the easy way. When basically I can see that they will no longer have any capacity whatsoever for a very long period of time of developing weaponry that could be used against the United States, Israel, or any of our allies. We have great allies in the Middle East, great countries that are allies. And they were staying out of it until they got hit.
Legislation about to be voted on threatens home and auto insurance as you know it, with fewer coverage options.
Hit them. If I didn't hit them first, they were going to hit our allies vice versa. I believe, upon information and belief, but I believe that he was going to, they were going to take over the Middle East. They were looking to take over the Middle East. Now, had Operation Midnight Hammer not taken place, that was definite, because they would have had a nuclear weapon within a matter of weeks. But that took place, that was a setback. But look at the number of missiles they were able to buy and make over the last 6 months. And those missiles were aimed at various countries. Now, when you look at over 1,000 missiles shot at like UAE, they were looking to take over the Middle East. We got there first. We're lucky. I'll tell you what, the Middle East and those countries, very rich countries, are very lucky that I was president instead of somebody else.
Points of disagreement between yourself and your vice president when it comes to U.S. action in Iran?
I don't think so, no. No, we get along very well on this. He was, I would say, philosophically a little bit different than me. I think he was maybe less enthusiastic about going, but he was quite enthusiastic. But I felt it was something we had to do. I didn't feel we had a choice. If we didn't do it, they would have done it to us. I felt, based on the negotiations that were being had by Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner and Marco and Pete, and everybody was involved, I felt that they were looking to tap us along before they hit, and I thought they were going to hit. And if they hit us first, that would have been a very bad thing. In the back, please, in the back. About the Strait, you mean? Yeah, well, I want to keep it open. I want to keep it good. You know, it doesn't pertain to us so much as it does to China. We're really helping China here and other countries because they get a lot of their energy from the Straits. But, hey, look, we have a good relationship with China. It's my honor to do it. Yeah.
Leader, you have called him an unacceptable choice. So does he have a target on his back? And how can you say...
I don't want to say whether or not he does because that would be inappropriate. But, hey, look, I had a target on my back because, as you people wrote pretty well, they caught the assassin that was after me. So we just got them first, but they caught the assassin. They have him now in custody, those after me. So, you know, but people don't like to mention that, but they did catch him. And I'd like to congratulate our military, Secret Service, FBI, all of the people that worked on that, but they did. Yeah, please. No, go ahead, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. You promised the Iranian people you would help them, but it sounds like you're willing to end this fight after your military objectives have wrapped up. Isn't that a betrayal of
Will I help them? I'd like to, if they can behave. But they've been very menacing. You know, they're great people. They have an amazing population. It's amazing, smart, brilliant, energetic. They have a great, I'd love to help them, but they have to be in a system that allows them to be helped. And now you add that up to all of the other things, Midnight Hammer, getting rid of the nuclear threat from Iran, which is a big moment in history, in my opinion, and the great success we've had in Venezuela and all other places. Every place we've gone, we've had tremendous success. But while we're doing all of these things, we're achieving major strides toward completing our military objective. And some people could say they're pretty well complete. We wiped every single
There was a
force
skip there. I'm not sure if it's still the live feed, but
most of Iran's naval power has been
yeah,
sunk. It's on the bottom of the sea.
I think we somehow lost the live. Let me see if there's another one.
But now everybody's doing this. Watch.
Doesn't matter how far you drive, doesn't matter how old your car is, doesn't matter where you live. For full coverage as low as $37 a month, all you...
What happened during his nomination? What happened to you? I'm sorry, people that were not for him, senators, friends of mine, sir, I don't think you're doing the right thing. Now they're calling me up. What a choice. These two guys are fantastic. And John Ratcliffe was incredible. It was actually their genius that called us from, he was 40 miles away. And he said, you know, we're seeing something
Was
moving
I
up the
playing?
mountain.
It's so hard to know.
And they kept the camera on him.
Pretty
for
sure this is the
45
correct
minutes. It
live.
wasn't moving, and they said, you know, probably wrong, but we're seeing something moving. This is a vast mountain, vast, thick, with bushes, trees. He said, we see something moving 40 miles away. It's the head of a human being, I'm telling you, it's moving. And then all of a sudden, 45 minutes later, he moved a lot. Stood up, and they said, we have him. And that was really the beginning of something incredible. We had an idea where he was, but not specifically. That's a big mountain. So I want to thank the CIA too. I don't think they get enough credit for the great job they've done. Yes, please.
Thank you very much, Mr. President, for this great opportunity. Country has super army. You make a difference, Mr. President. Thank you for your greatest leadership. I have two quick questions, Mr. President. What was your reaction when you learned that Kurdistan region had resumed exporting oil to the international market with your support as United States of America?
Well, I expected that. We've gotten along with the Kurds for a long time, so I expected that.
Another question, what would be your reaction if the Iranian people rise up against their regime during a ceasefire, Mr. President?
Well, they should do it, but again, the consequences are great. I mean, they were told, if you protest, you will be shot immediately. You saw what happened to the young wrestler. He was a great champion, by the way. He was a great wrestler, one of the top in the world. And he and his two friends were hung. And all they did was say a little bit about liberty. They wanted liberty, and they were violently executed. But the number is up to probably 45,000 people were killed. So, you know, when somebody stays in a house, when they know they walk out of the house to protest, they'll be immediately shot and killed. And they issued that, you know, that was publicly issued. It's not a secret. That's why so many people say, oh, well, why are you doing this way? We can't let Iran have a nuclear weapon. You know, we got regime change. We do. We're dealing with a much different regime than before. We're dealing with different people. They're smarter. I think they're sharper and far less radical. We have regime change, but we didn't do this with regime change. We did it for the fact, and my view was very simple. I saw somebody said, oh, he doesn't have a plan. I have the best plan of all, but I'm not going to tell you what my plan is. You know, they want me to say, here's my plan. We're going to attack at 9:47 in the morning, and then we're going to do this, and then we're going to, and if you don't do that, they say, I have a plan. These people know what the plan is. Everybody here knows what the plan is, but it's very unfair to say, because I don't mind being insulted. I've been insulted for many years by the fake news, but you can't. It's so bad for people that are so you just saw two great, and John Ratcliffe, three unbelievable people. They have a plan. Every single thing has been thought out by all of us. But I can't reveal the plan to the media. So, you know, but we're just thrilled by the success of this operation. Yes, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. You said Iranians would be mad if you stopped these attacks, but why would they want you to blow up their infrastructure, to cut off their power? Wouldn't that be punishing Iranians for the actions of the regime?
They would be willing to, and it's suffering, they would be willing to suffer that in order to have freedom. The Iranians have, and we've had numerous intercepts. Please keep bombing. Bombs that are dropping near their homes. Please keep bombing. Do it. And these are people that are living where the bombs are exploding. And when we leave and we're not hitting those areas, they're saying, please come back, come back, come back. These are the people. I don't know what they do. All I can tell you is they want freedom. They have lived in a world that you know nothing about. It's a violent, horrible world where if you protest, you are shot. Remember the great woman protests where they had 400,000, 500,000 women, and they were all enthused and they were going to protest, and everybody said, oh, the regime's going to come to an end. And then all of a sudden, boom, boom, 5, 6 different areas. A woman would go down right between the eyes. They had snipers. They had 5 snipers. That's all it took. And those 400,000 or 500,000 women said, oh my God, what's that? Oh, look over there. What's that? A woman shot right between the eyes. And after 5 or 6 of them go down, then you start hearing the purr through the vast number of people. And then they said, oh my God, who would do that? And they're incredible people, but they've lived so horribly. They've lived so horribly. You know, Iran was a great country if you go back 25 years ago or so. The Persian people, they're incredible, smart, brilliant actually. And I know so many. I know coming from New York, originally I know so many people from Iran. They're incredible people, incredible energy and very, very brilliant. Remember the Great Woman March? Everybody was like, oh, this is the end of the country. And then snipers selectively picked. Every single one was shot right between the eyes from a long distance. They were on top of buildings. Nobody even knew where they were, where they coming from. This wasn't like a machine gun, which is also very bad. They've done that too. They did that recently. This was snipers sitting on the top of buildings, aiming and hitting women. And when they see people go down, and all of a sudden there's a riot in the reverse direction, and they never came out again. And a lot of the news doesn't talk about it. They talk about, oh, women's rights. You want to see women's rights? You're not going to see it there. It's amazing when I see some of the stupid people, like, you know, AOC plus 3, all that group. They talk about, oh, freedom for Iran. They don't tell you the real facts. Women, men, gays. How about gays for Iran? They kill the gays. They throw them off buildings. So I wonder what's going on. I can only say this. They want us to keep bombing, even if it jeopardizes, because their life is in much greater danger. They want freedom for Iran, but it's very hard for them to protest. I actually tell them, I said, don't go out. I fully understand. Nobody in this room would go out. I don't think there's any, because frankly, it's not a question of bravery. We're all brave, right? You're brave, I'm brave, we're all brave. But we're also intelligent. If you have people shooting at you, expert shots with the best rifles you can get, and hitting you right between the eyes every single time, and you're looking here and you're saying, and you're looking here, you're out of there. I don't care who it is.
Mark Maris, Fox News.
I know that.
Oh,
Go ahead.
Americans watching. Can we go back to the weekend? First off, was everyone on board with the operation, or were there people that were trying to talk you out of going through with the operation this weekend?
Not everybody was on.
Somebody else within?
No, there was military people, very professional, that preferred not doing it. These two were totally on board, which was very important. They weren't, I would have a little difficulty. But no, there were military people that said, you just don't do this. You don't go into the heart of a very powerful military. You know, this is, hey, you have countries and countries. You have some countries where military is not their strong suit. This whole thing is militarized like nobody's ever seen before. Half the people are wearing uniforms. And we had people within the military. Usually it's not done. That's one of the reasons. You know, I was surprised. Somebody said it's the only time it's ever been done. I said, that's not possible. But it is possible. Because you're going into hundreds of thousands of soldiers along the path. I mean, look at some of the helicopters, how they got hit. So yeah, there were people within the military that said it's a wise. And don't forget, how many men did you send altogether, approximately, to the operation?
I'd love to keep that a secret.
Okay, well, wait. But I will tell you, the number, I'll keep it a secret, but it was hundreds. And hundreds of these people, that's pretty good. Is he central casting? But hundreds of people went into this journey. Hundreds of people could have been killed. Forget about the equipment, a lot of equipment, nobody gets it. Hundreds of people could have been killed. So we had people that were within the military that said this is not a wise, and I understood that, but I decided to do it.
Was there a point that that you were thinking, there's too much on the line, and somebody was saying, maybe we abort this now and wait? I mean, given the resources like the general said, it seemed like there was so much on the line here. You must have been thinking, this could have completely changed.
So the first one, which was in many ways as dangerous as the second, I guess it gets, because we're flying over daylight. You know, we're the best at the world at night. We have goggles that nobody, we have goggles, I've tried them, they're unbelievable. I see better with the goggles at night than I see without them during daylight. I mean, daylight today, we have a beautiful day. You see just as well with goggles. In many ways, it's enhanced. So we have the best in the world. So it's much safer for us to do it at night, whereas other people, no other country has that capability. They don't have that particular piece of equipment like we do. But when I was told flying and in daylight, I think we flew 7 hours over Iran, and that's a long time, over unbelievably hostile territory where they have nothing but weapons. We took out their anti-aircraft, which is great. We took out their radar, which is great. We took out a lot, but they still have, you know, what hit this one was a handheld shoulder missile, heat-seeking missile. So it's not like, you know, they're totally whatever. And they had probably a little luck, because you gotta get lucky. But they shot it, and it got sucked in right by the engine, but these guys were out of there. They were great. Their timing was great. But no, I was told that this is a very dangerous mission. I understood. They didn't say it's a foolish mission. They said, you know, we're going to be sacrificing hundreds of people to do this. This is, I mean, you have tankers that are flying over this area so that because the flight was so long, they had to refuel. It's a very dangerous mission. I just felt it was worth it. If you would have told me that we would have been successful, gotten both, and nobody was even essentially injured, I would have said that would be impossible. Yeah, great.
President, thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Welcome back.
Okay.
Given that you are now dealing, you say, with a more reasonable, less extreme leadership in Iran, what does that mean for the protesters, for the human rights movement in that country after this conflict? What's your expectation?
Yeah, if they assume control, if we do something and they assume control, I think it's very positive, a big step. I don't think you'd see the radicalization that you have seen in the last. Look what happened. I mean, women are being executed because they're not properly clothed, they say. They're not properly clothed, and they execute the women. They shoot them right on the street. No, you have a much different group of people. Now, I'm not saying we are dealing with them. Essentially, they have till 8 o'clock tomorrow night, Eastern time. But we are dealing with them. I think it's going well. Mr. Witkoff is here. JD's involved in the dealing. Mr. Witkoff is sitting right here, and I think it's going fine, but we'll have to see. You have to understand, we've been dealing with these people for 47 years. I'm standing here with a much more powerful Iran as of a month ago, not anymore. Right now, they are decapitated. But I'm standing here a month ago with a much more powerful Iran than it was at any point during 47 years. This should have been handled by 7 presidents, a lot of presidents, and those presidents are saying now, every one of them to their friends, we should have done this a long time ago. So it's not something I like doing. It's very dangerous, and we're getting them at the height of their strength. If I didn't terminate the Barack Hussein Obama Iran nuclear deal, they would have had don't forget, that was a path to a nuclear weapon. Remember this. He chose Iran over Israel, pure and simple. How Israel can vote for a Democrat is, if you're Jewish in New York City or any place else in this country, and how you can vote for a Democrat is unbelievable, because he chose Iran, a very hostile Iran. Remember when he filled up a 757 with cash, billions of dollars of cash, and he sent it over to them. Then they gave them tens of billions of dollars. He chose Iran over Israel, and really the Arab world, if you look, because, you know, the other, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, UAE, I mean, you take a look. I mean, I can add Kuwait, and I can add Bahrain, and you can add others. He chose such an unlikely candidate. Nobody could believe it. Frankly, if you're going to choose between Iraq and Iran, he should have befriended Iraq. He went in the exact opposite direction of all thinking, and he made a terrible mistake. But that was a road to a nuclear weapon.
Here's to time out on the water, to living your best life while enjoying the lake.
Yeah. You know, countries don't do 10-year deals. Countries, hundreds of years. You don't do a 10-year deal. For a country, you need, this isn't, you're a landlord, you're renting a store on a certain street, and you give somebody a 5-year or a 10-year lease. This is a country. It was a short-term deal. It was ready to expire. I terminated it before it expired. It took a lot of heat, and it was one of the best things I ever did, because he would have had a nuclear weapon. Then he would have had another nuclear weapon, had those beautiful B-2 bombers not gone in 8 months ago, and obliterated that set. And by the way, the word is obliteration. CNN said, well, maybe it wasn't complete. It was so complete that they still haven't been able to get it. It was obliteration. But if we didn't hit them, that was a courageous decision too, because we had all those planes flying in at night with very little cover, unbelievable stealth planes, and they were able to do their job. If we didn't do that, Iran would have had a nuclear weapon at a high level, either one of those two instances. And if they did, in my opinion, I told this to Bibi Netanyahu yesterday, Israel would have been extinguished. Large portions of the Middle East would have been extinguished, whether it's Saudi Arabia, Qatar, UAE, or others. And you saw that with thousands of missiles raining down upon them. They didn't think they were going to be hit. They thought they'd be watching us fight. And all of a sudden, UAE got hit by 1,500 missiles. He would have taken them out also. And they were powerful. If I didn't come along and terminate the Obama deal, which was terrible, the Iran nuclear deal was a road to a nuclear weapon, a big one, unlimited, legally. I terminated it without even much thought. It was so easy. I terminated that, and then the B-2 bombers. And I did one other thing. I had killed Qassem Soleimani, who was an evil genius. And the reason I did it, I heard he was going to knock out 5 of our military bases. And had he lived, I believe we would be fighting perhaps a different Iran right now, because he's never been replaced, you know. And I did one other, but this one was not picked up. Osama bin Laden. If you read my book, I said you got to take him out 1 year before the World Trade Center came down. So I wish you'd read the book. But you, as a president, to be a good president, I believe you have to have good instincts. And a lot of this is instinct. Yeah, please.
Thank you so much for taking my question. Mr. President, last week you suggested that Europe should take a lead on reopening the Strait of Hormuz. Has circumstances changed now that you're issuing a direct 48-hour ultimatum? And secondly, would a new ceasefire include Israel, or would it just be between Iran
I can't
and
talk
the
about
US?
ceasefire, but I can tell you that we have a active, willing participant on the other side. They would like to be able to make a deal. I can't say any more than that.
You've listed the goals. Excuse me.
Please,
You've listed the goals.
Who are you with?
My name is Diakoda. I'm with the largest Kurdish media outlet, Tundal Media Network. It's based in Iran. Mr. President, you said before that you don't want the Kurdish forces to enter Iran and be harmed. Do you still want them to stay away? Or what role do you expect them to play now?
I'd rather have them stay away. I'd rather have them stay away because I think they bring with them some problems and some difficulties. And I don't think they bring death, to themselves. But I'd rather have them stay away. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. President, for the question. Deliberate attacks on civilian infrastructure violate the Geneva Conventions and international law.
Who are you with?
I'm with the New York Times. Consultant for the New York Times. Are you
Failing.
Are you
see
concerned?
circulation way down at the New York Times.
Are you concerned that your threat to bomb power plants and bridges amount to
No, not at all. No. I hope I don't have to do it. But again, I just said 47 years they've been negotiating with these people. They're great negotiators. And because they're not gonna have a nuclear weapon. And if somebody that takes my place someday is weak and ineffective, which possibly that will happen, because we had numerous presidents that were weak, ineffective, and afraid of Iran, we're never gonna let Iran have a nuclear weapon. And if you think it's okay for people that are sick of mind, that are tough, smart, and sick, really sick, from a policy standpoint, from a any which way you want to say, mentally, these are disturbed people. If you think I'm going to allow them, and powerful and rich, to have a nuclear weapon, you can tell your friends at the New York Times, not going to happen.
It means violating international law.
So you no longer have credibility at the New York Times. Because the New York Times said, oh, Trump won't win the election, and it won in a landslide. It won every swing state. New York Times said, oh, Trump won't win the election. New York Times has no credibility. The credibility they have is it used to be all the news that's fit to print. The old gray lady, it was great, but they're running on past fumes, and you can't keep doing that. You have to be able to give the correct news. And people like you, who I know, are fake. You're fake. Go ahead, please.
Your messaging on the war has moved from the war is coming to an end to we're going to be bombing Iran to the Stone Ages. And we've heard a range of those sort of messages. So which is it? Are you winding this down? Are you escalating?
I can't tell you. I don't know. I can't tell you. It depends what they do. This is a critical period. They have a period of, well, till tomorrow at 8 o'clock. I gave them an extension. They asked for an extension of 7 days, right? I said, Steve, give them 10 days. 10 days is up actually today, so I gave them 11, I guess indirectly. I thought it was inappropriate the day after Easter. I want to be a nice person. They have till tomorrow. Now we'll see what happens. I can tell you they're negotiating, we think, in good faith. We're going to find out. We're getting the help of some incredible countries that want this to be ended because it affects them also. A lot of people are affected by this, but we're giving them till tomorrow, 8 o'clock Eastern time, and after that, they're going to have no bridges, they're going to have no power plants. Stone Ages, yeah. Sorry. CNN fake news.
Are you willing to make a deal that does not include reopening the Strait of Hormuz, or is that now a top priority?
I would say it's a very big priority because, see, that's one thing that's a little different than other than we can bomb the hell out of them, we can knock them out for a little. But to close the strait, all you need is one terrorist that somehow has a truck loaded with, because you can carry them in trucks, large trucks, a water mine, drop them in the water, and now you tell people that own ships that cost $1 billion to don't worry about the mine. You can do that even just by saying we put mines in the water. So it's not like the rest. We can knock out their military. We already have. We've knocked out their Navy. We've knocked out their Air Force completely. We knocked out 158 ships in 3 days. We've knocked out even their mine droppers. They don't have any mine droppers anymore, but they put them on other boats, and they could drop them. I'm not even sure they have any mines yet, by the way. I'm not sure. I'm personally, they say there might be 8. I don't know. I think there might be none, because they're very good bullshit artists. That's why for 47 years they've been bullshitting other presidents, and they haven't done the job. And people are living in hell. You live in that country, they're living in hell. No, I think that 47 years of this stuff is long enough. They're at the weakest point they've ever been. They have no Navy, they have no air.
Most of my income comes from my freelance work, which ranges from $1,000 to $2,000 a month. I'm out of half content creation.
Communication. In fact, the biggest problem we have in our negotiation is that they can't communicate. I said to Steve, what are they saying? Sir, they can't communicate. They have no method of communication. So we're communicating like they used to communicate 2,000 years ago with children, bringing a note back and forth. They have no communication. But all I want to see is I want to have a safe world, and you're not going to have a safe world. Israel will be gone. The Middle East will be gone. And then they're coming for Europe. And I have to tell you, I'm very disappointed in NATO, very. I think that NATO, I think it's a mark on NATO that will never disappear in my mind. You know, they're coming to see me on Wednesday, they're gonna say, oh, we'll do this, we'll do that. Now they all of a sudden want to send things, you know. But they said it loud and clear at the beginning. When I saw to UK of all, I would have said they would have been there first because they're the oldest. And I say, yeah, I'd love to have a little help. He said, no, sir, we'd rather wait till you win. I said, I don't need help after we win. They have 2 old broken aircraft carriers, barely work. I said, I guess we can use them. Who the hell knows? I called the general. He didn't even want them. He said, we don't really need them. We got the SS Abraham Lincoln, sir. We don't need them. Do you know, we have, in terms of technology, we had one day 101 missiles going at 2,700 miles an hour, aimed at the Abraham Lincoln. 101 missiles. Out of 101 missiles, 101 missiles were shot down. Unbelievable technology. 10 years ago, 5 years ago, I don't know if that would have been possible, but 10 years ago, that wouldn't have been possible. 101 missiles heading to a ship that's not that far off the coast. And out of the 101 missiles, we shot down all 101. We have weaponry. The Patriots are unbelievable. We have weaponry that's unbelievable, yeah. Go ahead, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. You said earlier today during the egg roll that you would like to take Iran's oil, but the Americans want U.S. forces home.
Correct.
What's that
If
trade-off?
I had my choice, yeah. Because I'm a businessman first. With Venezuela, as you know, the war was over in about 45 minutes. And we have great people running Venezuela, very good people. I mean, the relationship is good. And we are a partner with Venezuela. And we've taken hundreds of millions of barrels, hundreds of millions. Over 100 million barrels already is in Houston, refined and out. And paid for that war many, many times over, many times. And you know, the old days, to the victim. Okay, you know that. To the winner belong the spoils. Go the spoils. And I've said, why don't we use it? To the victor, go the spoils. And we don't have that. We haven't had that in this country probably in 100 years, because even the Second World War, you look at the Second World War, we didn't have it with the Second World. We helped rebuild all those countries. We rebuilt Germany. How about Germany telling us that, well, it's not their war. We had nothing to do with it. They wanted me to go and tell them everything I was doing. We didn't know anything about it. Well, if I would have told them, they would have leaked it, and we wouldn't have been nearly as successful, possibly, right? But to the victor belong the spoils. So we haven't heard that in, I think, maybe hundreds of years. Now with Venezuela, and we, just so you understand, the people of Venezuela, they say if I ran for president of Venezuela, I'm polling higher than anybody has ever polled in Venezuela. So after I'm finished with this, I can go to Venezuela. I will quickly learn Spanish. It won't take too long. I'm good at language. And I will go to Venezuela. I'm going to run for president. But we're very happy with the president-elect that we have right now. The people that are running it. If you remember Bush with Iraq, they fired the generals, they fired the police, they fired the people that worked in their equivalent of the White House. They fired everybody. And you know what they had? They had a mess. And you know what happened? ISIS formed. Those generals and those soldiers got together, the police got together, they all got together, they formed ISIS. Not going to happen with us. So Venezuela's been an incredible situation. We went in, we were very successful, military power like nobody's ever seen. The general, Venezuelan general said, I was on that site. I said, I've never seen ferocity like that. I've been doing this for 40 years. He said, I've never seen it. They hit us from 17 different, they were all set. They saw that big, beautiful aircraft carrier, the Ford in that case, and planes were pouring off it at 1 o'clock in the morning. So typically when you see that late at night, you know, you could be in trouble, right? And we were all ready. They had their equipment, it was Russian, and they had Chinese equipment. It was all set. They were going to give us a fight. He said, and then they came and they came at speeds like we've never seen. And they came at 17 different angles. The general and his people, that was a lot of angles. They hit him from every angle. He said, we knew it was over in 3 minutes. We were waiting for him. Their equipment didn't work. And there's a reason it didn't work. Someday we'll explain that to people. They pressed the button, nothing happened. They pressed it again and again, nothing happened. And he said, we knew this whole thing was over in 3 minutes. We've never seen any, he used the word ferocity. The ferocity of these planes from 17 different angles, and it was over. They went inside, and remember, that was on a military base with thousands of soldiers. And those soldiers looked and they said, get the hell out of here. Thousands, we didn't have thousands, we had like 200 people. So we have a great military, and I'll tell you what, somehow this rescue captured the world's attention, more so than normally. You're talking about 2 people. But this rescue captured the world's attention, but we did it in Venezuela. That's amazing, and now we have a very bad man in prison and going to trial. I mean, he released, aside from the drugs, which he was terrible, Maduro released hundreds of thousands of people from jails into our country. Drug dealers, murderers, the worst people in the world were released into our country because we had a stupid president who probably didn't know, and we had a border czar who never went to the border and never once called our great border patrol agents, right? Not once, Kamala. She never called the border patrol. She never said, how we do? I used to call the border patrol guys every day. You can ask them, Paul, ask any one of them. Brandon, ask them all the time. How are we doing? How are we doing? And we now, I'm proud to say, have a totally sealed border. 9 months, nobody is coming through our border. And nobody even tries because they know they're not going to get through. So we don't have caravans anymore. So maybe 1 or 2 more and we'll be done.
Mr. President, are you allowed to, or are you willing to end this conflict with Iran charging tolls for passage through the strait?
Us charging tolls?
Iran.
What about us charging tolls?
Is that something you're considering?
I'd rather do that than let them have them run. Why shouldn't we? We're the winner. We won. Okay. They are militarily defeated. The only thing they have is the psychology of, oh, we're going to drop a couple of mines in the water. All right? No, we have a concept where we'll charge tolls. Okay. I thought you meant us. Your question would have been more accurate if you said us.
So just to clarify, in order for Iran to successfully meet your deadline tomorrow, do they have to make a deal, open the strait, or both?
We have to have a deal that's acceptable to me. And part of that deal is going to be, we want free traffic of oil and everything else.
Thank you very much. You said glory be to God in this conflict. Do you believe that God supports the United States' actions in this?
I do, because God is good, because God is good, and God wants to see people taken care of. God doesn't like what's happening. I don't like. You have to dance greatly.
Is that easier to do as a billionaire?
We maxed out our credit cards.
People say, oh boy, they're so tough. I don't like seeing people killed. I've ended 8 wars. Nobody's ever done it. The person who won the Nobel Prize came to me and said, you deserve the Nobel Prize. She announced that. When they announced, they said, goes to Maria, she's a great person, really a good person. She said, no, this is ridiculous. They gave me the Nobel Prize. President Trump ended 8 wars. I could go over every one of them, including India and Pakistan, where the Prime Minister of Pakistan said, President Trump saved from 30 to 50 million lives. That makes me much happier than what we're doing right now. That makes me much happier. We have 1 more to end, by the way.
You called yesterday in your Truth Social, you called the Iranians crazy bastards.
True.
What is your response to critics who say that...
I don't care about critics.
What's your response to critics who say that it's your mental health that should perhaps be examined as this war continues?
I haven't heard that. But if that's the case, you're going to have more people like me, because our country was being ripped off on trade, on everything, for many years until I came along. So if that's the case, you're gonna have more people. Josh, you go. Josh, you go.
You said that very little is off limits in Iran as far as the targeting,
Yeah.
including power plants, bridges, you mentioned those.
Very little is off limits.
Are there certain kinds of civilian targets, though? I'm thinking
I don't want to tell you that.
hospitals that you...
I don't want to tell you that. We have a plan, because of the power of our military, where every bridge in Iran will be decimated by 12 o'clock tomorrow night, where every power plant in Iran will be out of business, burning, exploding, and never to be used again. I mean, complete demolition, 12 o'clock. And it'll happen over a period of 4 hours if we wanted to. We don't want that to happen. Ever do this again. That's going to be the head of my Joint Chiefs of Staff. And we worked it that way, didn't we? And it's amazing. He took out ISIS. We defeated ISIS in 4 weeks. I was told it would take 4 years. I flew to Iraq to find out with the greatest equipment in the world why would it take 4 years. They told me, sir, it won't. It'll take 4 weeks and you have time left over. And that's exactly what happened. So he's great at Pete. All I can say is that he was treated very unfairly. And now those same people that treated him unfairly, that fought against him, they called me up and said, what a great choice he was. They said, well, what happened during his nomination? What happened to you? I'm sorry, people that were not for him, senators, friends of mine, sir, I don't think you're doing the right thing. Now they're calling me up. What a choice. These two guys are fantastic. And John Ratcliffe was incredible. It was actually their genius that called us from... He was 40 miles away, and he said, you know, we're seeing something moving up in the mountain. This is at night. And they kept the camera on him for 45 minutes.
I think it's looping.
Said, you know, probably wrong, but we're seeing something moving.
I think it looped. Anyways, I think that pretty much concludes it, because he said he was only going to do 1 or 2 more questions. Any thoughts, opinions, comments, questions, ideas, or opinions? Now is your time to be heard. Raise your hand. Hello?
I'm not happy, John.
You're not happy?
I'm not happy.
Well, you have to have faith and let it go. Well, Trump has already, as he said, he's destroyed their navy. He's destroyed their missile capacity. He has beat them up so badly, but the problem is, they can't communicate because they're operating off of 7th century communication networks, having little children pass notes to the fucking intelligence that's running the network. So we have a failure to communicate.
Yeah, what's the deal, though?
The deal, tomorrow, 8 a.m. If they don't comply, they don't come back into compliance, he's sending them back to the Stone Age. That means...
Compliance means what? Opening the straits?
Compliance means whatever compliance means to Trump. That's what it means. He said it.
I don't get it. So what are we getting?
Well, you just heard him say that back in the day, we would get the money. We would get the oil. To the victor goes the spoils. To the victor goes the spoils.
What do we get from Iran in that deal? What are we getting?
It's undefined.
What?
It's not definable. It's just not.
You dropped out. What did you say?
I said it's undefined and undefinable, that the fog of war and the gray zone is where it's at.
I beat them up a little bit, and now we're back to the status quo ante with them weaker. That's what we get.
No, and I just got done talking to someone who's not on social media, we wwere talking about Iran, and basically what she was saying is, she said, you know, all the people who make these comments about what Trump's doing about Iran, they're not thinking logically, because
what are we getting from it? What are we getting?
Get it out. Let me get it out.
Well, no, I don't want to hear about your brain.
Let me get it out.
Listen, do me a favor, Chris. Start with the end, so then we can hear your story.
Why can't I finish?
Okay, try
I
to
wasn't
different
going
way.
to be that long.
It's all right. Are we getting anything from Iran?
Oh my God! Can you be quiet?
Can you answer the question?
I'm answering it, and you won't be quiet.
Stop whining. You sound like a little girl. What are we getting
No,
from Iran?
you won't be quiet.
What are we getting from Iran?
Again,
Christian.
this is the problem.
Christian, no,
with
not what
a
the
lot of
problem
people.
is. What
This
are
is
we
a lot of this is the problem with a lot of people inside the country.
Christian,
And
I'm
even
not asking you what the problem is with the country. I'm asking you
what
what
are
we're
you
getting.
really for? I have a green badge too.
That's awesome. What are we getting from Iran?
Can you shut up?
No, I can't shut up. What are we getting from Iran?
Oh my God. Let me know when he's done talking.
Oh my God.
And I will talk once he's done talking.
If you have an answer, just do me a favor.
I have an answer. You won't shut up.
No, it's not me. It's you. What are we
You
getting?
won't shut up.
Thank you.
Think what you're saying.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
You think what you're saying
No,
is
I
so
want to know the
important
answer to
you
the
won't
question.
shut up.
No, I want to know the answer.
See, these are the types of folks who shouldn't talk about
Let me keep it simple for you. Let me keep it simple for you. Are we getting anything from Iran? Yes or no?
Thanks.
Are we? No answer. Okay. I'll take that as a no.
I'll wait until you shut up.
It's okay. It's okay. You have your chance. If you decide to change your mind, please let us know. Arash, welcome to the stage. How you doing?
What's up, y'all? How you doing? Arash. How you doing,
Arash. What are we getting from Iran, Arash?
Happy Memorial Day.
Yeah, it's not Memorial Day yet. What are we
It's
getting?
the Memorial Weekend, bro.
What are we getting from Iran, Arash?
I don't know why you're so aggressive. I don't know.
I don't know why.
I don't live in Iran.
So you don't know either, right?
I do know,
Okay.
but
Okay, tell us.
situation?
Tell us, what is it?
The situation is that whatever happens is not in the benefit of the people of Iran. Trump's doing
No,
his
I'm
thing
asking, what are we getting from that?
Well, let me talk.
do you mean
We're
let me
getting
talk?
a lot of things. You want to have a nuclear bomb? You're
Say
the fucking
again?
hero, right? You want
What's
that
that?
crazy motherfuckers to have a nuclear
No, I'm
bomb?
asking you, what are we getting this deal?
You're gonna get that they don't have a nuclear bomb.
Okay, do they agree to that?
Well, he's working on it, right?
Oh, so we don't get anything yet. He's working on it.
Trying, is he not?
So we're getting nothing so far.
Well, that's the most important thing, bro.
Yeah, but we're not
You
getting
can't trust these crazy people with a nuclear bomb.
So are we getting that?
Yeah, Trump called me last night. He told me, yeah, he's getting that.
Okay.
I'm saying that's what the most important thing is. Are we getting it? I hope so.
So in other words, we've gotten nothing.
So far, no.
Okay, that was my answer.
Yeah.
Thank
so
you.
far, no. But
Thank you
at
for
the
being
same
honest.
time, they've crushed they don't have bullshit military.
I agree.
So, but the only problem is, the only thing is that people of Iran, the innocent people, like every country, they're hoping for that 1% chance that maybe out of all this crazy shit, they can maybe just have a regular life. But Trump's not doing it for the people of Iran.
But
It's
they
not
can't
for the
regular
people of
life
Iran.
because they have a bad government in charge.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Out of all this shit, they're hoping for that 1%.
That's something we all know.
Right?
The question is,
the question is, they should not have a nuclear bomb.
well, we know that. The question is if they agree to that. And the answer is
Even if they agree, they're fucking liars.
So we're not getting anything, Robert.
Yeah, you can't have an agreement with crazy people.
Okay.
Can you?
That's what Trump wants. He wants an agreement with crazy people.
He's trying. He's trying.
He's trying to do
At
what
least
you
on
and I
paper, he's
just
trying.
said. He's trying to do what you and I just said cannot be done.
Yeah, it cannot be done. Yeah.
So why?
He has to try. He has to try as a country, as a U.S. president. He has to try. So he said, listen, I tried. This is why I did this. You know, he has to try.
He did try.
He is trying, but it's not gonna fix anything. You can't have a deal with crazy motherfuckers.
Well, I agree with you on that.
Yeah.
So far what I'm hearing is, I guess they say they're going to open the Strait of Hormuz, which was open before.
That's up to us if the Strait of Hormuz is gonna be open or not.
Well, I thought that's what the deal is.
Yeah, no, well, it's not up to them. It's up to us. But the biggest thing for
It's up
us
to them.
and all.
They have minds.
No, it's not their bullshit. What are they gonna do?
They're going to
What are
attack
they
the
gonna do?
boats.
They're gonna tax the boats, right?
Yeah.
1 or 2 or 3. But if we want, we're not gonna let anybody go through. It's not up to them. They don't have anything. They have no navy. They have no bullshit. They have no military. They have nothing. It's up to us, right? So anything that happens over there is politics.
John, what's the substance of this agreement?
There's no agreement. There is no agreement.
No agreement.
This was a press conference for Trump to make an ultimatum on a Sunday to capture the world's attention. He talked shit about NATO. He said he was disappointed in Great Britain, disappointed.
100%.
And
I
so,
agree with that.
yeah, there's no. This was Trump trying to communicate what's going to happen, which is the obliteration of Iran's energy and communication and transportation network. If they don't come back into compliance and give Trump a peace deal of some sort, something, because as he called them, bullshitters. They love the bullshit.
So why do we want to
John, you can't have a deal with crazy motherfuckers, right? Trump has to do what's politically correct to show people, listen, I tried. I tried to be a good person. I tried to just make a deal, but these guys are crazy motherfuckers. So if he's going to make an action, which I hope so, he does, right? Then he can say, listen, I tried for 2-3 months. These guys didn't.
It's been cooperate 6 months.
Yeah, they didn't cooperate. They didn't cooperate. Done.
No.
But once again, Iran is not going to change until, I don't want to say it, but until there's boots on the ground. Because these Ayatollah with these, you kill one of them, 5 other motherfuckers come up, right? So once again, it's not about the people of Iran, but I look at it that way as well, right? So I don't know, man. But Trump's doing what he's got to do, and he's smart. He's gang, and I love him, and he's doing the right thing. We'll see what happens.
Those are nice words, but I don't see any deal here.
Well, you don't have to see it. He knows, maybe.
Well, I don't see it. You don't see it, and you want to know why?
Well, me and you are nobody. He knows
No,
other people.
well, speak for yourself. I'm somebody.
Well, listen, but nobody. Listen, we're regular people, right?
No.
No, okay. Maybe Trump calls you before he makes a decision, but not me. Right?
I'm not asking for a phone call. I'm asking for a deal.
You're asking for a deal. Can I ask who are you?
Yeah. My name is in my profile.
I see it. Okay, who are you?
What do you mean?
I mean, I know Trump. I don't know you.
Who are
Read my
you?
profile and you'll know who I am.
No, I don't have to read it, but why does Trump have to ask for your permission?
I didn't say he had to ask for my permission. I never
So
said
you have an obligation that he has to communicate with me.
No, he can communicate with the world.
He does. And he's doing a great fucking job.
There's no deal.
Okay. But he's doing a great fucking job. I love him. He's doing a great job.
Well,
and he's keep going.
You can send him a Valentine's Day card if you
Don't worry about that. Before that, I gotta call and make sure that Trump says you said it's okay, okay?
I'm not worrying about it.
All right, cool.
What I'm concerned
John.
with
Sorry,
is
John.
what I'm concerned with is Iran.
Honestly, I don't care.
I know.
At this point, I really don't care.
I understand that.
Right.
I care.
I think he's doing an amazing job, and he's doing the best for the country.
Right.
And I hope something happens out of all this shit that the people of Iran could be free too. That would be amazing.
Yeah.
Done deal.
Well, there's no deal. That's the problem. No
Oh my
good
God.
deal.
I said done deal in my opinion. Oh my fucking God.
Yeah. It's a problem.
Yeah, that's all good, man.
Well, it's not all good.
Bro, it's not all good. I get it. Holy
Yeah.
shit. I'm saying to myself, honestly, it's all good.
All right. I didn't realize you didn't know you were unmuted.
No, I was unmuted. I said, honestly, it's okay. It's all good. You said, oh,
You're talking to
John,
yourself?
y'all know this guy?
Yes.
Damn, he's fiery.
Yes.
Cool.
That's what
I respect you.
I expect you to. I want the president to be fiery.
Well, he is. Better than Biden. Better than the one before.
That's a very low bar. He's better than somebody who
He's got more balls than anybody of them.
Huh?
He's got more balls than any of them.
Yes, he does.
And he really, truly cares for the country. Or
Well,
else he'd be on Mar-a-Lago playing golf all fucking day long.
Wow.
He really cares for the country. And he's doing an amazing job. So far, he's done shit that no president has done.
well, I want some progress on Iran.
Well, you should text him. Tell him that.
I did. I texted him last night.
So you have 24 hours to give me an update.
Give you an update.
See, no, you tell him. 24 hours to give me an update. And CC me too.
He got back to me already.
That's what's up.
Want me to read what he wrote?
No, I really don't care. But I think me and you are saying the same thing, but you're aggressive, I'm aggressive, so it's all good.
I'll tell you
We're
what
not the same page.
I'll tell you what he wrote.
No, I don't want to know. I don't know.
Well, I can tell the other.
I don't want to know.
Okay, you can mute up.
Ask them if they don't want to. If they want.
Every single day, I will be fighting for you with every breath in my body.
For you?
I will, to me. I will not rest until we have delivered the strong, safe, and prosperous America that our children deserve and that you deserve. President Trump. This will really be the golden age of
So he
America.
takes you this. Personally. Wow.
So, hopeless in progress.
Damn. John, man, I didn't know we had this kind of situation. I loved Trump.
Right. Obama follows me too.
Fuck Obama.
Well, I don't roll that way.
My opinion. You know how many million dollars he gets for this Iran? That's why I say fuck you, Obama.
Too many.
Yeah. And did they use 1 penny for the people of Iran?
They used it to spread terror.
Exactly. So, fuck Obama. I love him. He's a good people too, but fuck him for doing that shit. Fuck him. If the $1 of that money went to the people of Iran, I wouldn't say this. But you can't deal with one of the fucking terrorism motherfuckers like this. You can't deal with them. These people need to be taken out.
That's what I was hoping he would do.
Yeah, that's what I hope he's gonna do too. You can't deal with terrorists, bro. I'm Persian, and it's so sad to say that, but the government is fucked up. The government is not what the people of Iran are. The people of Iran are amazing, educated, fun, loyal, hospitable. But these government, you just use the Quran, the Islam shit, in their own benefit. The Islam says, oh, you're 9 years old, it's okay. They do whatever the fuck they want.
Yeah, he said he has a.
Their kids come to Canada, they go to Swiss, they go party all day long.
He said Trump says he has a formula, and his formula, he believes that an internal promotion, the same way you run a corporation, do you bring in an outside executive consultant, or do you bring in somebody from the inside that knows the culture, knows the organization for 10, 20 years? So that's what he's referring to, is that this blustering threat may emerge, he's not happy with the Ayatollah's clone, in the same way that Pyongyang clones his child, the next thing you know, you get the same spitting, branded image. He's not happy with that, but,
100%.
we'll see what happens.
The people of Iran, inside and outside of Iran, they're calling one person's name, right? I'm not saying he's good. I'm not saying he's bad. We have a lot of amazing Persian people inside of Iran. They could be amazing presidents or whatever, right? But the people of Iran are calling one person, which is the Shah's son, okay? That's the only name. They're not calling my name. They're not calling El's name. They're not calling John.
Yeah, we get it. We understand. We understand how branding and marketing and all these things work. But again,
no, it's not branding.
yeah, he's got a brand. The Shah of Iran has name brand recognition. He's a name.
Listen, his dad spoke 20 languages. He flew jets. He was educated. He went to France. These mullahs, they don't even know how to speak one language, right? These guys were with class. They had respect. They had learned. They had education. They had, in the world, they're very respected. Okay, I'm not saying it was good or bad. None of my business. But the people of Iran have one good person. They're chanting his name, right? So they say Trump hasn't met with them, but from the insides, I heard that they've met many times. Okay, but it's very hard to put him in position because these people are terrorists. You kill one of them, 20 other people, brainwash people come out, So whatever happens, man, I always just wish the best for the people inside of that country, whatever country it is, right? The people inside that country, I hope they get what they deserve,
So he said during his speech today that they were actually actively engaged in an attack during the speech. So, tomorrow, yeah, he said it during his press today. He says, as a matter of fact, as I'm speaking to you right now, we are attacking them right now. So,
well, I didn't hear that. I was at the casino. Sorry. I didn't hear that.
No, I don't know what he was referring
the country
specifically
puts a
to.
bounty on Trump's head, right?
Wait, who are we attacking, John?
Nobody.
Trump said that today during the presser that as he is speaking, he is actively attacking them at some facility.
So he said that he attacked Iran.
Wait a second. He said, hang on a second. He said that we're attacking Iran right now?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
John?
For the fourth time, Trump said during the presser today, actually, as I am speaking to you right now, we are attacking them right now.
I hope so.
I didn't know that. I didn't hear that part.
I didn't hear that either, but I hope so. Because when a terrorist organization, which is the government of Iran, puts a bounty on the president of America, these people are non-negotiable. We need to take that organization out. The Iranian government needs to go. They're a threat to everybody in the world, right? With the balls to say that to Trump. I hope he did, and I hope these motherfuckers leave because I love Trump, and he has the balls. I love it. But you can't fuck with the U.S. military.
I do know that the Iranian people love Trump, and the Israeli people love Trump.
Yeah.
So I hope the American people love him as much as the people from other countries.
50-50, from what I'm saying.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah, I'm in Arizona, I'm in Scottsdale, so Republican city, but here a lot of people, everybody loves Trump, but from what I'm seeing, I mean, there's a lot of crazy shit happening in our own country, you know? Like, who are these people? Where'd they come from? You know what I'm talking about. But man, I hope what John heard is a fact, and I hope he takes these motherfuckers out. I love fucking Trump. He's doing the best for the country, and I really feel he's doing it from the bottom of his heart. He doesn't need the money or anything. He's doing it. So, I hope he's right. Hello?
Hello?
Should I not talk anymore?
Interesting that Tulsi Gabbard is gone. Thomas Massey gone. And now gives Trump more leeway to engage in his war. And this is not a Barack Hussein Obama war. This isn't even a George Bush war. This is a Donald Trump war where to the victor goes the spoils. The press agent says, "You think it's okay for Iran to continue doing the tolls?" He says, "Oh yeah, I think we are going to do our own tolls." Oh, he said, "Oh, you said Iran did the toll." No, America's going to be doing the tolls from now on. America's going to be the one receiving the benefits, not Iran, because we've destroyed them. We've crushed their navy. They don't have a navy. And then he says that the closing tactic of using mines in the Strait is all psychological. He doesn't even think there are any mines in the Strait. And so this was a big presser. You know, he spoke unrestricted at length. And he even probably said things that he shouldn't have said. He was talking about a secret weapon that we used in Venezuela. We have some type of secret EMP weapon. And he said, I don't know, maybe in a few years we'll talk about it. But when they went to push their buttons, nothing worked. They pushed their button, nothing worked.
Mr. Kitover, why do you think that it wasn't run on any of the networks? When you were playing it, I checked on Fox News, I checked on CNN, and even News Nation, and none of them were carrying it. Why do you think? Was it a live presser that you were playing?
Yeah, live on the internet. They probably they're gonna release their edits. They're gonna release their clips.
What was the setting of that interview? That presser, was it in the White House briefing room or?
Yeah, it was in the press room. I had no idea that this press event was even happening until that guy Joe Hero. I said, "What are you doing today?" He goes, "I'm watching Trump do a live press conference right now." I said, "Really?"
Hello? Is this room active? Hello?
Yeah, we're bombing Iran.
We're bombing Iran right now?
Yeah,
Are you serious?
according to John.
Did they announce it? Because, what's his name? Trump, Marco Rubio, J.D. Vance, and I think another one all met at the White House today. Or yesterday.
Saw that. It's not a major one, though. I think it's a little nudge. That's what John said. I didn't hear it. John, you think it's right? John?
Yeah, I don't know what he was referring to specifically. It was some type of facility or something.
We're hitting some kind of facility?
That's what he said as he was speaking. He said, "Right now." And then he looked over to Secretary Hegseth. So
I'm not getting it on any of my intelligence feeds.
he could have been talking about something else, but I didn't mishear him, or like he said actively not in terms of like a massive strike, but it was some type of coordinated specific attack, and he said if they don't come into compliance by 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time tomorrow, he said that's it. He says we're sending it back to the Stone Age, and he said they requested 7 days. He said I said give them 10. And we got Steve Witkoff right here. And Steve says, "Sir, they have no ability to communicate. They have no communication response system. They're passing notes in secret with children. They can't communicate with us." So this was Trump's message to them, to the world.
What does compliance mean in this case?
It means whatever Donald Trump says it means.
So they got to do something. They got to show us something. Show me the money.
That's probably what it is. And he says he's also doing this for China, who he has great relations with. He said China's the one that's getting decimated here, their economy, not being able to bring in their energy requirements. So he's doing it for the world. And tomorrow, if they don't come into compliance, he has made the threat that he is going to send them back to the Stone Age. He also said that the USS Abraham Lincoln had hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of rockets shot at it, and the technology on the ship is so advanced they were able to eliminate 100% of all incoming rocket strikes. He says that type of technology was never available just up 10 years ago. He criticized Obama to a very high degree. This was a lot of information that came out with today with this presser, and I clipped it. It's on all my YouTube accounts, and the comments are FDT, FDT, FDT. That's what Trump has a way of triggering people. It's unbelievable. Yeah, well, the world runs off of scripts, and I consider myself a script analyst.
Could I be a prescriptionist?
You can be whatever you want to be. You can say whatever you want to say. You can feel whatever you want to feel.
Well, I mean, I was one hell of a medic, so I do know my pharmacology quite well.
It's valuable information. Is it possible to be the most valuable person on the ship, but also be one of the most annoying people on the ship?
If you become the most valuable person on the ship, you'll be the first person tossed off the ship.
Yeah.
Like, down here in Georgia, we just play country dumb a little bit, but we ain't stupid, man?
Well, Caesar famously said that he'd rather be the last person. What is the quote? Last person in a town if he can't be the first man in Rome, something like that. I have to look up the quote. But meaning that that his values demand that he always try to be one of the premier leaders. And look what happened to him. He was murdered. Assassinated.
Yeah, but when he came into Rome with his whole army and the 2 legions behind him, he was a baller.